Chapter 419. Another Attack. As deafening screams came through, the painful cries caused hair to stand on end. Back in the yard in the villa, Xiao Ran was sitting on the ground with his legs crossed. Above his head, the body refining flame was burning over his body. Even though the blazing flame was specifically used to refine the body, the pain was simply unbearable. However, Wang Xian remained unwavering at the side. Each time when Xiao Ran's physical body could not take it, Wang Xian would inject energy of the azure dragon to heal his body. When his skin tore, it would be treated with the energy of the azure dragon again. At the same time, level 4 elixir pills were thrown into Xiao Ran's mouth as though they cost nothing. The immense energy in the pills was quickly absorbed and refined. Boom! After he had taken all 4 soul enhancement pills, an intense energy began to rise in Xiao Ran's body. He lifted his head as he could not help but bellow with a shaken body. "Open your mouth!" Wang Xian shouted at him as he curled his finger and sent 3 White Valley Lotus seeds into his mouth. White Valley Lotus could help to cleanse the physical body, shaping the most perfect inborn physique. Compared to Devil's skeletal pill, the spiritual energy provided would be lesser, but it could strengthen the foundation. As the body refining flame from the Inferno Dragon Ball kept pouring down on him like a waterfall, Xiao Ran was completely covered by the sticky and thick magma. With the help of level 6 spiritual medicine, White Valley Lotus, and level 11 body refining flame, nothing would go wrong despite the fact that they took a shortcut. Absorb the energy and adapt to it. Lay a good foundation, said Wang Xian to Xiao Ran indifferently as he observed by the side. After half an hour, Wang Xian opened his mouth and took the Inferno Dragon Ball back. Xiao Ran, who was glowing in a blue flame, slowly opened his eyes. A tinge of sapphire radiance blinked in his eyes as tranquil blue, heavenly flame rose from his body. Daunting destructive energy came from his body. Xiao Ran slowly stood up. Ka. A bone-cracking sound came from within his body. The tranquil blue heavenly flame slowly converged into his body with flashing bouts of queer aura. It was the domineering and majestic stance of an inborn expert that was emanating from Xiao Ran's body. There was a tinge of thrill in his eyes as he turned to Wang Xian with passion and admiration. "Master, I actually advanced to inborn realm. Thank you, Master." As he spoke, Xiao Ran went down on his knees with his eyes reddened. His body was shaking with excitement. "Enough, don't be so excited. Put on your clothes. We're going to Shangjing this afternoon." Wang Xian smiled at him. "Yes, Master." Xiao Ran blushed as he hurriedly ran outside. Wang Xian shook his head and went back to the villa. He was lying on the sofa, drinking his tea while reading the news on the underworld. The most popular event in the underworld recently was none other than the Outstanding Young Heroes rankings. The underworld would rank the Outstanding Young Heroes biannually. As such, many of the supreme talents would rush over to the venue. If they got ranked, they would receive many resources. If they could rank above the top 3, they would have a chance to receive level 4 to 5 elixir pills, level 5 to 6 spiritual grass, and even powerful weapons. Xiao Yu and Elder Fong had already returned to Thistles and Thorn's sect during the past few days. Xiao Yu was getting ready to surprise every young hero in the event. At the same time, she was preparing for Thistles and Thorn's sect to upgrade themselves to a first-class force. Wang Xian did not interrupt her enthusiasm. Given Elder Fong and her strength, almost no one in the entire underworld could hurt them. Even if they met a Dan realm expert, they were able to go up against them once they transformed into a skeletal dragon. After a rest, Xiao Ran put on his training attire and walked over with a sharp sword in his hand. "Master, you're ready? Let's go. We'll pick up your sister first." As Wang Xian spoke, he stretched his back and spotted the ancient spiritual sword at the side. With a casual movement, the sword was tossed to Xiao Ran. "Your last gift." Wang Xian tossed the inborn spiritual weapon, the ancient spiritual sword, to Xiao Ran as he spoke. They picked up this ancient spiritual sword when they annihilated 9 Lotus sect back at the ancient tomb. It was initially gifted to Xiao Yu. But ever since Xiao Yu had turned into a skeletal dragon, she has no use for this ancient spiritual sword. The inborn spiritual weapon was no better than the bone sword extended out from her hand. As a result, the sword was left lying around in the villa. "Thank you, master." Xiao Ran took the ancient spiritual sword with thrills. He was looking ebullient. "Let's go," Wang Xian said to him. Both of them took a cab to the old street. After meeting up with Lu Mingxin and Sun Lingxiu, 4 of them took a cab to the airport. Lu Mingxin was an unofficial disciple of Sun Lingxiu. Since she practiced the art of light, her strength had reached level 8 martial artist. Given her age, it was rather daunting. "Where are you flying to?" the driver asked them with a smile on his face. "To Shangjing." "Shangjing? Now it's very crowded to go there since everyone is traveling there for a winter vacation." The driver chuckled as he spoke. When the cab was making a turn, a large vehicle stopped in the middle of the road, causing the driver to slam on the brakes immediately. "God damn it! What a son of a bitch! Do you know how to drive?" "Her." At this time, Wang Xian spotted the martial artists walking out from that car. They were all armed with swords, looking over in their direction with icy gazes. "Master, it's them. They were the ones who assaulted me." Xiao Ran was getting aggressive as he pointed to the few middle-aged men and exclaimed loudly. "Again." Wang Xian raised his eyebrow and revealed a cold smile. Upon seeing the flustered driver, Wang Xian struck him unconscious with a palm. "Let's get down." Wang Xian sniggered as he spoke when he stepped out of the cab. "Brat, where do you think you can hide?" Xiao Shi-san glared at Xiao Ran coldly as he smirked, revealing a bloodthirsty look. Half step to inborn. There were 2 old men, fat and skinny ones, standing beside Xiao Shi-san. The fat old man squinted his eyes as he observed Xiao Ran in a half-asleep state. "Just a half step to inborn, brat, and you want us to strike. It's safer to get rid of such a demon-like existence." Aunt May did the correct thing. "We're here to ensure this brat is utterly dead, just in case," said the skinny old man beside the fat old man who had bulging eyes that were big and creepy-looking. "People from the Xiao clan? Hee, we were about to look for you. Little did I expect you to be here beforehand." Wang Xian swept his gaze across 15 of them, among which there were 2 inborn experts and 5 half-step to inborn experts. He could not help but display a cold look. "Who is he?" asked the fat old man who squinted his eyes. "Who cares? Kill them all." The skinny old man stared with his round eyes as he spoke casually. "That's true. You guys go on. I want to see what that 15-year-old half-step to inborn can do." The fat old man nodded as he commanded the rest of the surrounding people. Yes. 13 martial artists held their weapons in their hands. Xiao Shi-san took a look at his comrades and reminded them, "Be careful. This brat can release a powerful blue flame." "Haha, we've got so many of us here. It will be a piece of cake to kill a half-step to inborn brat." Chapter 420. Don't oppress me just because I'm young one. Xiao Ran, kill all of them. Wang Xian contorted his lips upwards and spoke plainly to Xiao Ran, who was beside him. "Yes, master." Xiao Ran held the hilt of the ancient spiritual sword tightly in his hand as he stared harshly at the 13 people surrounding him. Hatred gleamed strongly in his eyes. It was also this batch of people who had killed his mother and forced them into a life of running desperately. Killing intent flashed in his eyes as he walked resolutely towards them. After being pursued for over a year, Xiao Ran felt no fear and trepidation towards killing. All he felt was the desire to slay all his enemies one day. Today he was finally going to take the first step towards achieving his goal. Kill him as quickly as possible and get back. The fat old man squinted his eyes as he instructed his men lazily. Hee, who would have expected a brat like you to recover in 2 days? However, we have 2 inborn experts with us today. There's no way for you to escape, even if you had wings. Xiao Shi-san stared harshly at Xiao Ran as he drew his long sword gradually. I won't run again from today onwards. I'm going to kill every single one of you as revenge for my mother. Xiao Ran didn't draw his sword. He was reserving it for the 2 inborn experts, and the rest weren't qualified for him to use it. Hee, die now, insolent brat. Xiao Shi-san and the crowd shouted coldly as they charged towards Xiao Ran with their weapons. I'm no longer the same kid as a year ago. Don't oppress me just because I'm young. Xiao Ran's expression was eerily cold, looking at the 13 people approaching him. A tinge of blue flames flashed across his eyes. Haha, insolent brat. Don't assume you can act brazenly just because you have some strength. No matter how gifted you are going to meet your end today. Xiao Shi-san and a few other men laughed hysterically. Piercing glow flashed on the surface of their swords as they lunged toward Xiao Ran. TSK. Xiao Ran looked at them. Moving both of his hands, a circle of tranquil blue, heavenly flames appeared on his palm. The tranquil blue heavenly flames were swaying and seemed eager to set the air ablaze. Die! He shouted loudly as he swept the tranquil blue, heavenly flame towards the 13 people. Be careful. That blue flame is really powerful. Xiao Shi-san turned solemn and reminded the group loudly. Heavenly flame. Oh gosh, it's a heavenly flame. In one corner, the fat old man was exhilarated upon seeing the heavenly flame. The skinny old man beside him had his eyes opened widely as he smiled radiantly. Haha, after we kill that kid, the heavenly flame will belong to us. Break. Xiao Shi-san and the group slashed down on the tranquil blue heavenly flames that were flying towards them. Die. Seeing them still trying to withstand with their weapons, a cold flash beamed from Xiao Ran's eyes. The current him wasn't the same as 2 days ago. Boom! He waved his hand, and the circle of blue flames raged violently the moment they contacted their weapons. To their astonishment, the tranquil blue flames grew to over a meter in size and shrouded towards them. Shit! Xiao Shi-san was taken by surprise. The tranquil blue flame was different from previous times. The flames they had seen just a while ago were highly concentrated flames. Arg! Instantly, the 8 level 9 martial artists cried out pitifully. When they saw the blue flames raging on one arm, they immediately tried to put them out by patting it with their other hand. However, they hit nothing as they waved their other hand down. Their arm had been reduced to dust before their astonished eyes. Moreover, the flames were spreading quickly towards their bodies. It was as though they could no longer feel the temperature of the flames as they were reduced to dust like paper. How can this be possible? Xiao Shi-san was devastated as he looked at the spreading, tranquil blue, heavenly flame on his arm. When the flames had landed on the level 9 martial artists previously, the worst it could get was to torch the person. Yet they were reduced to dust directly this time. He patted towards his arm rapidly. However, to his astonishment, he hit nothing. His arm and his body were disappearing rapidly. His brain didn't register any pain or misery. However, all these things were incomparably frightening. Arg! Pitiful cries reverberated. All 13 people had disappeared creepily. With a single strike, 5 half-step to inborn experts and 8 level 9 martial artists were reduced to dust. Incomparably terrifying. What? The fat and skinny old men who had stayed behind looked on with disbelief. That fat old man was fully alerted now as he shed his laziness from before. His eyes widened and were filled with confusion. It's your turn now. Xiao Ran grabbed the ancient spiritual sword by his waist and said, "Now I'm going to kill both of you, after which I'll head to Xiao Clan to demand an explanation." Annihilating 13 experts in a single strike. How can this be? You aren't at the half-step to Inborn Realm. You have reached the Inborn Realm. A 15-year-old Inborn expert. The jaw of the skinny old man dropped, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had completely lost his calm demeanor from before. How can this be possible? What kind of chance encounter did you have? 2 days ago, you were still a half-step to Inborn expert. Yet you have reached the Inborn Realm today, and even have a terrifying heavenly flame. The old man turned serious. The heavenly flame was much stronger than ordinary flames, and could substantially increase one's strength. Because I have a powerful master. Xiao Ran lifted his head proudly while staring harshly at them. Master. The skinny and old man's attention fell on Wang Xian and the group who had stayed behind through the developments. Kid, don't assume you are a match for us after just reaching the Inborn Realm, the fat old man remarked coldly. He exchanged glances with the skinny old man and attacked Xiao Ran suddenly before completing his sentence. They were going for the ambush. They weren't ashamed of ambushing a 15-year-old kid. With Xiao Ran possessing the powerful heavenly flame, it was worthwhile for them to be unscrupulous. Huh. Xiao Ran was taken aback, slightly. He had not expected the two Inborn experts to attack suddenly. Therefore, his expression changed slightly as he retreated instantly. Kid, die now. Blue and red light shot out from the eyes of the two old men, respectively. At the same instant, four needle-like hidden weapons shot towards Xiao Ran's forehead and throat. This is bad. Xiao Ran was taken by surprise. He had not expected the other party to resort to hidden weapons after ambushing him. There's no way he could guard against them. Dang! Xiao Ran retreated immediately and rapidly drew out the ancient spiritual sword. Icy flame devil needles aren't something your small, long sword could stop. No matter how demon-like your talents are, you are still going to die by our hands. Hee hee. Excitement gleamed in the eyes of the skinny old man. No matter how talented this kid was and how strong he was, his battling experiences were far lacking. Papa! However, the moment Xiao Ran drew the ancient spiritual sword, the face of the skinny old man stiffened instantly. His eyes opened widely as he said, "Inborn spiritual weapon? Oh gosh! You. Who is your master? Who could have afforded to give you an inborn spiritual weapon?" "My master." Xiao Ran revealed a chilling and proud smirk, glowered at them and shouted, "Remember this! My master is Miracle Dr. Wang, from River Town. Now you guys can die." What? The fat and skinny old men were completely stunned. Bitterness gleamed in their eyes and they gritted their teeth. So what if he is Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown? Even without the Xiao clan, the Liang family could suppress him. Chapter 4:21. Don't oppress me just because I'm young too. Kill! The skinny and fat old men exploded with daunting aura when they uttered the word coldly. Xiao Ran was looking stern as he held his long word, staring at them with vigilance to prevent their sneaky attack again. However, what amazed Xiao Ran was both skinny and fat old men spun around and fled suddenly. Let's go and report to Aunt May about this. This brat is a disciple of Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. On top of that, he possesses the strength of an inborn expert. Both of the old fellows exchanged gazes and spoke with a heavy look. That little bastard not only possesses the strength of an inborn expert, but his master was also the Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. Things got tricky when this little bastard became an inborn expert. Now that he has such formidable backing, that will be huge trouble. In particular, his backing was Miracle Dr. Wang. According to the review given by the Underworld, Miracle Dr. Wang and those inborn experts he commanded could go against a quarter of sacred sect. A quarter of sacred sect sounded quite scary enough. Forget about a quarter of sacred sect. If Miracle Dr. Wong called upon 4 to 5 inborn experts, this matter would get even trickier. Xiao Ran was, after all, part of the lineage of Xiao clan. He was assassinated because Aunt May had been controlling this using the power of her own family. Currently, no more than 6 or 7 inborn experts from Xiao clan would totally side with Aunt May. The rest of the older generations in the clan would definitely side with Xiao Ran if they knew about him. If Miracle Dr. Wong really brought a bunch of experts, sending Xiao Ran back to Sacred Clan as an inborn expert, Aunt May and Xiao Fan would definitely receive a terrifying blow. As such, they must deliver the news to her, so that Aunt May could prepare herself for it. 2 scheming old fogies. Wang Xian went expressionless when he saw the 2 old men launching a sneak attack with secret weapons, now making an escape. With a change of stance, he appeared before them at a crazy speed. "What's the hurry? Both of you must spar with my disciple." Wang Xian sneered as he quirked his lips when he saw the 2 old men running in his direction. What? He's indeed the Miracle Dr. Wong of Rivertown, living up to his name. What scary speed he has. The 2 old men could not help but narrow their eyes as they braked with an awful look. Then they stared at Wang Xian with vigilance. "You can forget about escaping from me. Don't even think about it. You better spar with my disciple," Wang Xian said plainly to them. Well, Miracle Dr. Wong, do you know who you are going up against? Don't assume that you're almighty and that you can do whatever you like. You're not qualified to poke your nose into the Sacred Clan's matters." The fat old man stared daggers at Wang Xian and remarked coldly, "It's my disciple's matter and so it's mine. Sacred Clan? So what?" Wang Xian scorned. "Arrogant. Go and die." At this time, Xiao Ran raged from behind as he had been tricked by the 2 old men time and time again. That embarrassed him in front of his master. "Do it!" The 2 old men exchanged glances. Knowing that they could never escape from Wang Xian's hands, they exploded domineering strength and struck at Xiao Ran. Sword of Phantom. Xiao Ran gripped his ancient spiritual sword tightly as the faint luster of tranquil, blue heavenly flame was exuded from his body. Soon, the sapphire flame enveloped the entire sword. Sword of Phantom was the swordplay passed down by Sui Huang. It was a compelling swordplay that matched his tranquil, blue, heavenly flame. Xiao Ran wielded his sword as though dancing with blue phantoms, which was incredibly spooky. Not bad. With hands behind his back, Wang Xian smiled as he commented on Xiao Ran's swordplay with a smiley face. His strength. As soon as the 2 old men came in contact with Xiao Ran's swordplay, they grimaced. The formidable heavenly flame was annoying enough if it got onto their clothes, because if they were not careful, they would sustain severe injuries from it. Beside the heavenly flame, they also could not handle the sharpness from the mighty, inborn spiritual weapon. Fuck you. They did not dare to touch the heavenly flame and inborn spiritual weapon. Any person of the same level as Xiao Ran would find difficulty in defending him. Suppression. It was not the suppression from his cultivation nor his experience, but rather from his equipment. Heavenly flame and inborn spiritual weapon were extremely precious treasures, and yet he had both of them. This freaking Miracle Dr. Wong is too rich to equip this brat with such formidable weapons. After exchanging dozens of strokes, 2 old men had a bad feeling surging from the bottom of their hearts. If they continued, they would get themselves killed. If not for the fact that Xiao Ran was lacking experience, they might have already been injured by this brat. They had to flee, but with a more powerful Miracle Dr. Wong around, they were unable to make their escape. Despair began to crawl in. They were here to slaughter the brat. They even thought that, given the strength of Xiao Shi-san and the rest, the brat would be a dead body as long as they prevented him from escaping. Yet, the The situation had been overturned utterly. The master of this brat was preventing them from escaping while that brat was trying to kill them with his own hands. In the face of the spooky swordplay, razor-sharp inborn spiritual weapon, and the daunting heavenly flame, they could only dodge with trepidation. Arg! The longer Shao Ran fought, the more courageous he became. With the ancient spiritual sword in his hand, he slashed the chest of the fat old man who was unable to dodge in time. Daunting heavenly flame and razor-sharp inborn spiritual weapon cut his abdomen straightaway. Blood did not gush out as the body of fat old man stiffened up. Shao Ran swung his arm and enveloped him in a sapphire flame. Arg! A hopeless and fearful scream came from the fat old man. The skinny old man trembled with fear as desperation filled his round, bulging eyes. Go to hell! Shao Ran gritted his teeth as his eyes gleamed with hatred. With a twist, he pointed his long sword at the skinny old man and lowered it down. Oh no! The skinny old man was appalled as he quickly dodged. Arg! Another shriek was heard as the skinny old man looked at the long wound on his arm with a sapphire flame burning at a rapid speed. Arg! The skinny old man bit his teeth and pulled the dagger in his hand, severing his own left arm. I'll kill everyone who chased after us personally to avenge my mother. The long sword in Shao Ran's hand was still gleaming with a daunting devilish-like sapphire flame as he pierced the skinny old man's chest. Run! This time, the skinny old man did not care if Wang Xian was guarding at the side. To survive, he had to escape with a yell. Miracle, Dr. Wang, if you dare to stop me, our clan will not let you off. We'll kill all your family members. I advise you not to intervene in the matters of Sacred Clan. Otherwise, the Sacred Clan will be the place to bury you. While he desperately fled, he even let out a shrill threat. Bam! At this time, the skinny old man felt immense energy at his chest. His eyes seemed to be clouded by astonishment as he looked at the young man before him with disbelief. I won't kill you. Go back and inform that mastermind in the Shao clan that I'll take Shao Ran back tonight. Don't you bully my disciple because he's young. Chapter 422. Don't oppress me just because I'm young 3. You have crippled me. Feeling his elixir field being completely shattered, the skinny old man widened his eyes and glowered at Wang Xian. His round eyes were bloodshot and filled with hatred and anger. Wang Xian looked mockingly at him with strong contempt as he remarked, So what if I did? I'm leaving you alive for now. Go back and inform them we will be coming for them. Bam! As Wang Xian completed his words, he pushed the skinny old man lightly. The skinny old man staggered and fell to the ground, his eyes still fixed on Wang Xian. Not only had he lost an arm, but he was also crippled. For him, this was worse than death. Cough, cough! Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. As long as you dare to step into Shangjing, I'll let you experience what is worse than death. I'll make you beg me to grant you a quick death. The skinny old man was like a devil that wasn't fearful of death as he glowered at Wang Xian and roared. Ha, just go. I would like to see how you are going to make me experience something worse than death. Go, get lost, tell your family, and the one behind it that I'll be coming for them with my disciple. Wang Xian laughed loudly and walked towards the private hire car nonchalantly. Master, aren't we going to kill him? If we let him go, he will alarm the rest. Shao Ran walked over, gritted his teeth, and spoke as he stared at the skinny old man on the floor with deep hatred. It will be fine. Just let him go back and inform the rest. Wang Xian's eyes turned chilling. How dare they threaten him? He had initially prepared to bring Shao Ran directly into the Shao clan to question them and demand an explanation. However, he was not going to wait for them to give him an explanation anymore. He was going to get one out of them himself. He took out his phone and smirked. The Dragonians had now reached the Inborn Realm. Moreover, he was also preparing to establish the Dragon Sect as a sacred sect. In that case, he would allow the Dragonians to show themselves before the public eyes. The first stop would be to face the sacred clan, Shao clan, directly. Strong desires to fight emanated from Wang Xian. He dialed Mo Qinglong's number on his mobile phone. "Young master, gather everyone in the dragon sect and come to the airport immediately. We will be going to Shangjing," said Wang Xian plainly. "Yes, young master." Mo Qinglong paused for a moment before nodding his head solemnly. "Master, I'm sorry to have disappointed you just now." At this moment, Shao Ran lowered his head and spoke apologetically. "Your performance was still acceptable. Get yourself ready mentally." Wang Xian patted him on his shoulders and got into the rented car. Sun Lingxiu and Lu Mingxin followed him and boarded the car. "Brother, you are so incredible." Lu Mingxin looked at Shao Ran and complimented him with a blushing face. "Master will be bringing us to take revenge today." Shao Ran held onto his sister's hand. His heart was filled with agitation and anticipation currently. "Driver, please continue." Wang Xian patted the body of the driver, injected a stream of azure dragon energy, and woke him up. "Huh, what happened to me?" The driver lifted his head, still feeling a little confused as he stared at Wang Xian. "I don't know. You lost consciousness suddenly, and I have been trying to wake you up for a long time. Are you all right?" Wang Xian asked heartily. What's happening?" The driver patted his head and felt that his body was in better condition than before. He shook his head and said, "I'm fine and feeling pretty good. Let me send you guys to the airport now." The driver smiled and turned towards the large car parked horizontally before him. He continued his complaints. "Damn it, the driver is really inconsiderate to leave the car behind. There's a guy lying there. Is there an accident?" "It's fine. That's just a beggar. We went down to take a look previously." Wang Xian smiled and answered plainly. The group of people who had fought with Shao Ran had been reduced to dust. There weren't any trails left behind. Therefore, the driver didn't suspect anything as he continued driving his car towards the airport. "Miracle Dr. Wang from River Town. I'll definitely let you have an experience worse than death. Just you wait." Behind the car, the skinny old man who was on the floor grumbled as he struggled to get up. His eyes were bloodshot and looked wretched like a man-eating devil. The only thing that was supporting his will to live was to kill Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown and stabbing him with 1,000 knives. "Young master, everyone in the dragon sect is here." When Wang Xian arrived at the airport 30 minutes later, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan walked up to him. Behind them, 48 Dragonians wore identical black attire with an image of a devil dragon. This attracted curious eyes from the surrounding crowd at the airport. Go and get the tickets." Wang Xian looked across the crowd of Dragonians and revealed a satisfied expression. "Yes, young master." Soon, the plane took off for Shangjing. At the same time, a private helicopter was moving toward Shangjing. On the helicopter, a wretched-looking old man lay. He had closed his bloodshot eyes and was contacting Aunt May and the decision-makers of the Liang family, telling them to wait for him at Shangjing. He didn't tell them the details yet. The plane flew expeditiously toward Shangjing, and so did the helicopter. As the helicopter had taken off first, it landed on a private airport while the plane was just halfway through the journey. This was an exceptionally huge manor. The manor was beside a lake and was incomparably beautiful. At this moment, a wealthy lady and an old man stood up immediately upon seeing the helicopter land. To their astonishment, they saw the skinny old man staggering out of it with a missing arm. They immediately went forward to help him. "Uncle Gu! Old Gu, what happened to you?" The wealthy woman and old man hurried over and were shocked to see the state of the skinny old man. "I got crippled, completely crippled. The fat old man was killed." The skinny old man was hideous. He looked at the wealthy woman and old man as he said, We encountered some troubles. That little brat has reached the inborn realm. Moreover, his master is Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. I was crippled by Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. They are now on their way here to Shangjing and will be heading to Shao Clan. What did you say? Just as the skinny old man completed his sentence, the wealthy woman's eyes popped wide open as she stared in disbelief at the skinny old man. The old man beside her was also shocked. His body was shivering as he attempted to verify. Old Gu, are you sure about this? How can this be fake? Otherwise, I wouldn't have been crippled. The skinny old man grimaced and continued. It's Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. It's all because of him that the little brat has grown to become so powerful. We definitely have to stab 1,000 knives into him before killing him. Uncle Gu, you are saying that little Mutt has reached the inborn realm? How can this be possible? It can't be. The wealthy lady shook her head in disbelief. It was clear that she was flustered. Inborn realm. That little Mutt had reached the inborn realm and was even stronger than her son. She couldn't believe it. That little Mutt was just 15 years old. Chapter 423. Arrival of the Dragon 1. She knew exactly what it meant to advance to inborn realm at the age of 15. All the more, she knew what would happen to this 15-year-old inborn expert if he was in Shao Clan. At present, her son was a half-step to inborn expert at age 18, and he was already receiving the attention of the entire clan. He was almost selected to be the next clan leader of Shao Clan. He was receiving personal attention and guidance from Lao Tzu. The entire sacred clan was respectful to a woman like her, while her son also received firm support from many elders. Her son's talent had already received so much attention. What would happen if it was a 15-year-old inborn expert? She was almost certain that the entire Shao clan would be shaken, and most probably Shao Ran would be tagging behind Lao Tzu in the future. All of these were valid possibilities. As an inborn expert at the age of 15, it was too frightening. Not only would it shake the entire underworld, but the whole world would also be shocked. His potential was unlimited, as he almost had an 80% chance to advance to Lao Tzu realm. The fact was simply too scary. Besides, when that mole returned to Shao Clan, he would definitely expose the truth that she had ordered the assassination to kill the three of them, including his mother. By then, the choice between an inborn expert or half-step to inborn was clear to Shao Clan. After all, she would receive a sanction from the clan, and her son would also be implicated. That struck terror into her. They'll be reaching Shao Clan tonight. We must not let them through. The malevolent expression slowly disappeared from that skinny old man's face. Now we need to exterminate Miracle Dr. Wang and that mall. Otherwise, the consequences. They must be killed. An old man darkened his expression as he bellowed in a low voice with a twisted expression. Yes, we must kill them. Kill them all. The wealthy-looking lady panicked as she said, if they entered Shao Clan, Fanner would be finished. So would I. Calm down. Now we need to think of ways to kill both of them. The old man screamed at the wealthy-looking lady with a sullen look. Dad, we can just kill them on their way. Just do it on their way and stop them from entering Shao Clan. The wealthy-looking lady nodded and suggested this to her father. Intercept and kill them. Radiance flashed in the old man's eyes as he squinted slightly. Call upon all the inborn experts from the family here and intercept Miracle Dr. Wang and that mall. Kill them off before they reach their destination. Family head. I'm afraid Liang family's strength is not enough to kill that lad, the skinny old man remarked slowly with icy cold gazes. Her. The old man stared hard at the skinny old man. We have 6 inborns in Shangjing. Can't we even kill 2 people? Family head, that Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown is really domineering. I guess he has already advanced to half-step to Dan realm. That Mull possesses heavenly flame and an inborn spiritual weapon. 6 inborns are definitely not enough. Not even with another 2 additions. Essa. The old man drew cold breath as soon as he heard the skinny old man. The wealthy-looking lady was stunned for a moment as panic flashed in her eyes. Then what should we do? Think of a way. A foolproof plan. The skinny old man bit his teeth with traces of blood were seen on his gums. That made him look like a devil. The wealthy-looking lady had a mixed expression. Her fair complexion and beauty seemed ferocious when her eyes were gleaming. I have an idea. She bit her teeth as though she had made a grave decision. What is it? That old man quickly turned to his daughter and asked in a deep voice. Today's Fanner's 18th birthday. We're having a huge celebration in Shao Clan. If they dare to turn up later on, I'll get an elder from Shao Clan who is on good terms with us to stop them. Once conflict arises, we'll strike without giving them the chance to speak, said the wealthy-looking lady with malevolence. This is a little risky, but... His eyes glittered as the old man nodded his head slowly. At that time, I'll get all the experts from the Liang family. Once they enter, we'll just attack them, so they have no chance to speak. By then, the experts from Shao Clan will strike too. When Shao Clan struck, it would be an easy job to exterminate Miracle Dr. Wang. Even though both of them were Imba, they would be suppressed. Xiao Mei, I'll leave this to you. You must make it work. Otherwise, you'll implicate the entire Liang family. The old man continued with consternation. Don't worry, Dad. I'll take care of this. The wealthy-looking lady squinted her eyes and revealed a faint smile like any vicious person. Shao Clan is located in Shao Mountain, one of the 3 sacred mountains in Shangjing. When the plane landed in Shangjing, Wang Xian brought Xiao Ran and the rest out of the airport. They looked in the direction of Shao Clan, with Emo Qinglong and the remaining Dragonians behind them. It's 5 now. Let's have our dinner and go over there at night. Darkness marks the best time for revenge, said Wang Xian to Xiao Ran with a beaming face. Anything you say, master. Xiao Ran nodded with anxiety at this moment. They had not stepped into the city for more than a year, which also meant they had been on the run for the same amount of time. He did not feel the slightest warmth in this place, only coldness. They found a place and had dinner. Subsequently, they headed for the sacred mountain, where Shao Clan was located. Shao Clan was one of the 3 sacred clans, including Sui Clan in Shangjing. Hence, the territory they occupied was on par with Sui Clan. Unlike the Sihiyuan at the 2nd Ring Road, Shao Clan was located on the 4th Ring Road. Shao Clan's residence was a huge mansion that used to be a royal residence in ancient times. The entire mansion was huge, with hundreds of rooms. Behind the mansion sat a mountain, the sacred mountain of Shao Clan. The sun set relatively early during winter. It was about 6, and the sky was in total darkness. However, it was lively in the welcome banquet block of Zhao's mansion. Lanterns were hung around the vintage buildings. As they lit up the entire Shao Clan, it was as though it was a time travel back to ancient times. Happy birthday, Shao Fan! Happy birthday, Shao Fan! You're finally an adult today. Haha here. Our genius in Shao Clan. Take a look at the present that I brought you. More than 300 guests were gathered in the welcome banquet block at this moment. All of them were the core disciples of Shao Clan and Liang family. A juvenile in blue-colored Zhao's uniform was standing in welcome banquet block with a proud-looking face as he accepted the presents from his elders. 6 inborn experts from Shao Clan and 6 inborn experts from Liang family were all celebrating a birthday for him. Who else could achieve such an honor? Immense confidence surged within Shao Fan. Zhao's mansion. We're here. At this time, 4 figures showed up at the entrance. But more figures were hiding in the dark, waiting for their commands. Chapter 424. Arrival of the Dragon 2. What a majestic-looking, sacred clan. Sui Huang lives in a huge Sihiyuan, while this is an ancient-looking mansion for the nobles, exclaimed Wang Xian as his eyes were fixed on the exceptionally huge mansion before him. There were over 10 entrances to the mansion, and they were standing before the main eastern gate. 2 young men stood on the sides of the gate while observing the surroundings attentively. When they saw Wang Xian and Xiao Ran, they exchanged glances. "Who are you guys?" One of the young men squinted his eyes and shouted at Wang Xian. "7th generation of Xiao clan, Xiao Ran. I have not returned since a year ago. Today I'm back." Xiao Ran stepped forward and looked at the incomparably huge mansion before him with complicated feelings. Once, this was a place where his mother, sister, and he had always looked forward to living. However, it was hell for them after they got in. Not that he was finally back, he was coming for revenge and to announce to the entire Xiao clan that he, Xiao Ran, was back. He was still a teenager, but was no longer the weak teenager who anyone could bully. He looked respectfully towards his master before turning to the 2 young men. "Oh, Xiao Ran, I have some impression of you. What are you here for?" The eyes of one of the young men lit up as he asked with a faint smile. "I'm here to seek grievances for myself. Please bring us to where the elders of the clan are," Xiao Ran said solemnly to the 2 young men. "Looking for the elders? Today is the 18th birthday of young Master Xiao Fan, and most of the elders are there currently. Let us bring you over." The 2 young men smiled and answered Xiao Ran. "All right." Xiao Ran nodded his head emotionlessly and looked towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian smiled in response and nodded his head before following the 2 young men in. "Master, something isn't right." Xiao Ran leaned towards Wang Xian and commented solemnly. "We will deal with it when the time comes. Let's see what tricks they are up to," replied Wang Xian plainly. He had let the skinny old man off to tip off the clan. As such, this matter wouldn't be as simple as it might seem. Moreover, the 2 young men that led them in were too casual. Everything was so smooth that it felt a little strange. Even the young Xiao Ran found it to be weird. However, Wang Xian wasn't too concerned. In the face of absolute strength. So what if they were a sacred clan? The mansion of the Xiao clan was huge. After bypassing a pavilion and crossing a river, they arrived at a place with raucous noises. A vintage-looking building appeared before them, and peals of joyous laughter reverberated constantly from the building. "They are right inside." The 2 young men turned around, faced Wang Xian's and his group, and revealed eerie smiles. Wang Xian nodded his head calmly. Just as they were about to approach the welcome banquet block, the 2 young men laughed out creepily. "Don't kill us! Don't kill us! Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, please don't kill us!" "What? Our Xiao clan has offended you, and you are here to annihilate the clan? You, how arrogant! You must be courting death to be thinking of annihilating our Xiao clan. How dare you kill the disciples of the Xiao clan? Our Xiao clan will never let you off. The elders in our clan will slay you. Don't assume you are the strongest in the world just because you topped the outstanding young heroes chart. Help!" Suddenly, the 2 young men turned their bodies around, staring at Wang Xian and the group while smiling sheepishly at them. At the same time, they were screaming for help in a horrified tone. The voices of the 2 men were exceptionally loud and soon reverberated across the radius of 1,000 meters. Their voices even overwhelmed the laughter of the crowd in the welcome banquet block. Voices in the welcome banquet block died down after the screams of the 2 young men erupted. Soon after, several figures emerged from the building rapidly. "Who dares to barge into our Xiao clan? Who's the one interrupting my son's birthday celebration? You must be too eager to die. Who's Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown? He dares to kill the people of our Xiao clan?" Angry roars erupted from several places. The first few to arrive at the scene were the experts from the Liang family. At the front of the pack there was a wealthy-looking woman, an old man, and the skinny old man who had his arms severed and cultivation crippled. At this juncture, The three of them were glowering at Wang Xian while wearing cunning smiles. Arg. At this moment, it was as if the two young men were possessed by the greatest actors on earth. They turned around and ran towards the experts from the Liang family while pretending to be horrified. They barged into our Shao clan and even declared that he will be annihilating us. Haha, this is interesting. Wang Xian looked at the two pretentious young men with deep contempt. He finally realized the plot of the other party. They were trying to label Wang Xian's group with crimes they didn't commit so they could kill them with reasons. Both of you really deserve death. Wang Xian stared harshly at the two young men trying to escape. As he waved his hand, two sharp spikes made of metal dragon energy shot towards the two young men. Huh. The wealthy-looking lady, old man, and the skinny old man were shocked to see Wang Xian attacking. Their smiles deepened, and they were even more excited to see what Wang Xian had done. They didn't attempt to intercept Wang Xian's attacks at all. Arg. Two pitiful cries reverberated across the hall. The two young men who were acting instantly felt the immense pain cruising through them from their backs. Their faces had turned as white as chalk. When they turned their heads around, they saw Wang Xian looking at them with ridicule. The two young men held onto their chests that were pierced through as they looked in the direction of the wealthy-looking lady. They were confused and desperately hoped she would extend aid to them. However, the wealthy-looking woman simply grinned wickedly while staring at them. Their eyes widened and were soon overwhelmed with desperation. Soon they fell to the ground with remorse, confusion, and helplessness. Great. He's indeed Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. How brazen of him to kill the people of the sacred clan on their home ground. The old man was ecstatic. This had just been a plot initially. However, it had now become the reality, and things would get much easier from here onwards. After killing the people from the sacred clan, the feud could no longer be resolved. Han Qing, Han Gu. At this moment, the elders of the Shao clan had arrived and happened to witness Wang Xian striking and killing the two disciples of the Shao clan. One of the elders growled furiously. How dare you kill the disciples of our Shao clan? You deserve death for barging into our Shao clan. The elder glowered at Wang Xian and the group with strong killing intent. Should we strike? When the wealthy-looking lady witnessed the developments, she asked her father, who was standing beside her, Wait a minute. This Miracle Dr. Wang is really arrogant. Let's take a step back and see how things develop. This matter isn't as complicated as we thought. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown is just a man with brawn and no brain. The old man squinted his eyes and replied with a faint smile. The matter had turned out completely different from their expectations. They had concluded that Wang Xian would be looking for the elders of the Shao clan directly, showing them Shao Ran's talents and demanding a fair explanation from them. It would now seem like the arrogant Miracle Dr. Wang wasn't prepared to do those things. Instead, he adopted a brazen attitude towards the Shao clan and even killed the disciples from the Shao clan. As such, they wouldn't have to rush into taking actions against a guy who didn't know what was best for him. Deserves death? Some people in the Shao clan are indeed deserving of death. Today, I have brought my disciple here to seek revenge. Wang Xian responded calmly. They would have never understood that the actions of the strong weren't something they could predict with certainty. Chapter 425, Suppression 1. Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown, you're too arrogant. How dare you kill the disciples of Shao clan? You might be a supreme talent or number 1 on the outstanding young heroes chart, but you won't leave the Shao clan today. An elder of the Shao clan took 2 steps forward as he stared at the 2 disciples who were lying dead on the floor. Murderous intent filled his eyes. What a brazen fellow! How dare you barge in and take down our people? Miracle Dr. Wang, are you sick of living after remaining alive, even after killing an elder of Sacred Followers Guild? Another elder stalked to one side. On the other hand, Several elders of the Shao clan glowered at Wang Xian as they spread themselves around, forming a semicircle to lock them down with an imposing aura. Do you think 4 of you can just barge into a sacred clan as you like? Today, I'll make you pay for killing 2 of our disciples. Those who barge into sacred clan shall die. The elder from Liang family and the remaining 5 inborn experts stood beside those elders of Shao clan. All of them sneered as they stared daggers at the quartet. Haha, sacred clan Shao clan, we're here for revenge. Do you think you guys can stop us? Wang Xian threw them a taunting look as he swept his gaze across everyone. Eventually, he stopped at the wealthy-looking lady and the people from Liang family. With a grin, he said, by getting us to provoke Shao clan, do you think they can kill us all? Today, I'll return justice to my disciple with blood. Everyone, including the Shao clan and you people, is bound to die. No one shall live. Wang Xian bellowed as he placed his hand on Shao Ran's shoulder. Your enemies. You must kill them one by one personally. Yes, master. Haha, fine. What an insolent lad to massacre the Shao clan. We, the Shao clan, do not share any grudge against you. Even if there is, so what? Just then, elders flitted out from the Zhao's mansion. Their movements seemed like an invincible expert in the movies, drawing after images under the moonlight. 5 elders were led by an old lady who had a staff in her hand. Yunyang! Yunyang! One by one, the elders from Shao clan greeted the old lady respectfully. Great-grandmother. Shao Fan, who was beside the wealthy-looking lady, greeted the old lady happily. Hee, today's Shao Fan's birthday. Without knowing, you're already 18. Well, well. The old lady beamed at Shao Fan with kindness in her eyes. Subsequently, she spun around. Today's the birthday of my great-grandson. How dare you barge into Shao clan, going around killing people and even threatening to take revenge on us? If so, I'll use your blood to cleanse all the bad luck. As the old lady spoke, the warm smile on her face was filled with coldness when she stared at the quartet. Shao Ran clenched his fist tightly as he gazed at that old lady. She was the great-grandmother of Shao Fan. That would mean the same to him. He shared the same blood, but the treatments were completely different. Even his great-grandmother could not recognize him. How depressing this was. He did not feel the slightest affection for Shao clan. What a way to put it. Even if there is, so what? Wang Xian glowered at the old lady. You'll find out what it would be soon. With a cold expression, Wang Xian looked across all the inborn experts and said with a mean look, Are these all the inborn experts you have? If there are more, bring them over. Haha, you arrogant brat. Do you think that if you're the number 1 on the outstanding young heroes chart, you can be invincible? We have 16 inborn experts here who can slaughter you like livestock. The old man from Liang family broke out laughing when he saw what Wang Xian was doing. Idiot, a completely idiotic fellow. The skinny old man whose arm was missing threw Wang Xian a death stare as he revealed a hideous smile. He wanted to witness this fellow getting killed. I'll play with you and teach you how it feels to be in despair. Wang Xian looked at them as they were pressuring them with numbers. If that is the case, he would do the same thing. Whoosh! As his words trailed off, the Dragonians who were in Black Devil Dragon attire suddenly emerged on the roofs not far away. With a swift movement, they flitted in their direction at an amazing speed. 25 Dragonians. Wang Xian did not call for all the Dragonians, but he would still want to see how Shao clan landed into desperation. 25 Dragonians kept their silence, exhibiting an imposing stance around them. Ka. Cracks were formed on the ground when they landed on it. The Dragonians behind Wang Xian were glaring at all the people from Shao clan with murderous eyes. 16 inborn experts? I think it's insufficient. Wang Xian grinned at the old man of Liang family and spoke indifferently. SSS. The old man, wealthy-looking lady, and the skinny old man were stunned. It had only taken a second for those Dragonians to make their appearance. When they saw the 25 inborn experts in devil dragon attire, a shocking look crept onto their faces. Even the people from Shao clan could not help but narrow their eyes when they saw the sudden appearance of Dragonians. Their hearts sank with horror in their eyes. 25 inborn experts? You actually have 25 inborn experts. Looks like you guys are prepared. The old lady held the staff tightly in her hands as she glared at the Dragonians behind Wang Xian. 25 inborn experts. Which force are you guys from? Asked an elder from Shao clan, who was appalled to see the Dragonians behind Wang Xian. 25 inborn experts. They are really strong. What's going on? How did Miracle Doctor Wang manage to call upon so many experts? The surrounding disciples of Shao clan were aghast when they saw the domineering experts. Initially, they'd come here to watch a show. Go and kill all your enemies with your own hands, said Wang Xian to Shao Ran, ignoring all the shocking experts from Shao clan and the Yang family. Yes, master. Shao Ran grabbed the long sword in his hand and stalked forward. Whoever dares to make a move will be killed on the spot. Wang Xian stared at everyone from Shao clan and warned them with an icy face. How did this? Why are there so many experts? Why? The wealthy-looking lady was in disbelief as Shao Ran strode forward, staring at her with murderous intent in his eyes. A film of cold sweat covered the forehead of the old man beside her. He had never expected them to have such a terrifying force. The first one that I'm going to kill is Aunt May. Come here. Shao Ran lifted his chin with eyes that were filled with killing intent. He stared at her. You killed my mum and chased us for more than a year just to kill us. If it were not for my master, we would be dead. Today, I'll avenge my mum. Asshole, you want to kill my mum? You're just seeking your own doom. Shao Fan was looking ruthless when he saw Shao Ran trying to kill his mother. He snatched a sword from one of the disciples beside him and pointed it at Shao Ran. Chapter 426, Suppression 2. Shao Fan held a long sword in his hand while staring harshly at Shao Ran. Son, don't. The wealthy-looking lady tried to stop her son immediately. She was truly worried. She knew about the strength of Shao Ran and that her son was a far cry from him. If she allowed her son to fight and the situation to play out, her son would be killed. Mom, don't worry. He's just a useless brat. I can kill him with a single strike. Shao Fan looked at his mother before lifting his head proudly, staring at Shao Fan and walking calmly toward Shao Ran. Son, stop there. The wealthy-looking lady hurried over and pulled Shao Fan back. She shook her head at him and gritted her teeth tightly. What's the matter, Mom? He is so arrogant. He even declared that he's going to kill you. Let me slaughter him. Shao Fan looked at his mother before turning his head over and glowering at Shao Ran. TSK. Just as Shao Fan completed his words, the old lady snorted. She looked across at Shao Ran, and her gaze finally stopped on Wang Xian as she remarked coldly, Do you think you could suppress our Shao clan with just 25 inborn experts? Wang Xian looked at the old lady and chuckled. In that case, summon all the experts in your Shao clan over. Wang. The old lady smashed her truncheon on the ground, and tremors were sent reverberating through a radius of 5 to 6 kilometers. Her eyes were fixed on Wang Xian, and she was clearly discontented. With just 20-odd inborn experts, I wonder who gives you the guts to barge into our Shao clan and kick up a ruckus. Huh. What's happening? Strong enemies have infiltrated our Shao clan. Let's go take a look at the one who is eager to die. Who? Haha, it's been a long time since I have killed someone. A confused voice reverberated from the location of the sacred mountain of the Shao clan. Soon after, a group of old men moved rapidly over. One after another, black figures flew towards Wang Xian. Every single one of them released their aura and shrouded the sky over the entire Shao clan. At the same time, the commotion had also alerted the entire Shao clan. All the lights were lit, and the disciples were all rushing over. In an instant, 20 inborn experts arrived and were hovering in a row above the ground while staring coldly at Wang Xian and his group. Xiaoyu, these are people causing troubles in our Xiao clan. At the middle of the row, an old man looked down plainly and asked the old lady, Uncle, they claim to be here for revenge and have even killed our disciples. The old lady lifted her head and answered the old man in the middle of the row. Oh, they are pretty strong. 25 inborn experts? Which force do you guys belong to, and give me a reason? Otherwise, all 25 of you shall remain here forever. The row of old men stared down at Wang Xian's group as they demanded coldly. When the wealthy-looking lady saw the older generation experts from Xiao clan arriving, she finally heaved a sigh of relief while staring harshly at Xiao, Ran, and Wang Xian. It's true that people act tougher when they get older. Wang Xian looked at the 20 inborn experts in the sky and revealed a mocking smile. He turned to the old lady and asked, Are there any more experts from Xiao clan? The moment he completed his sentence, another 25 Dragonians that had been hiding themselves jumped into the air under the leadership of Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan. Splash! As Mo Qinglong and the Dragonians wiggled their backs, pairs of black wings appeared behind them. The additional 25 Dragonians released their exceptionally terrifying aura and shrouded their aura towards the 20 inborn experts from the Xiao clan. They hovered in the air, just like the experts from the Xiao clan. The Dragonians could do the same as the experts from the Xiao clan. What? How can this be possible? How can there be another 25 inborn experts? When Mo Qinglong and the Dragonians appeared in the sky, everyone in the Xiao clan was dumbfounded and horrified. The group of experts acting tough in the sky shivered after feeling the horrifying aura that was charging towards them. Their expressions instantly turned solemn. 50 inborn experts. Oh gosh, they have 50 inborn experts. This time, it was the old lady who was completely shocked. She was no longer as cold and composed as before. As she looked across, her face turned gloomier. Impossible. This is impossible. How can this kid be? How can he be? The wealthy-looking lady and the old man from the Liang family were completely flustered. The entirety of the Xiao clan strength was here with the exception of those not in Shangjing. Xiao clan had 30 inborn experts. This was definitely a shocking number. However, the other party had 50 inborn experts. 50! What kind of horrifying force would have 50 inborn experts? Everyone, how did our Xiao clan offend you that requires you guys to come to Xiao clan with such a huge lineup? In the air, the old man in the middle of the row was exceptionally bitter. Now that his father wasn't in the clan, the strength of the other party could completely crush them. Whoever dares to make a move will be killed on the spot. Wang Xian didn't pay attention to the old man as he repeated himself. Aunt May, get here. Xiao Ran drew his ancient spiritual sword, pointed at the wealthy-looking lady, and shouted once again. The wealthy-looking lady shivered in fear, and her face had turned as white as chalk. She would have never expected such a development. Initially, she thought they could roll over them by relying on the strength of the Xiao clan. However, she was soon filled with desperation as she saw the 50 inborn experts, and the group of experts from the Xiao clan not daring to make a single move. Things had deviated completely from her expectation. It's no surprise that he dares to kill the disciple of the Xiao clan. It's no surprise that he didn't approach the elders for an explanation. So he was apathetic. He couldn't care about those things. In one corner, the old man from Liang family clenched his fist tightly. His back was drenched in perspiration as he looked fearfully at the 50 inborn experts in the sky. I don't know which force you guys are from. However, if you dare to kill a person from our Xiao clan, the experts from the Xiao clan will hunt all of you down. Seeing how things had developed, the old lady clenched her fist tightly as she made her threat. Shut up. Even if Xiao Quan-shan is here, he would have to stand aside and simply watch. Wang Xian chided coldly. You, the old lady, and the surrounding experts from the Xiao family were dumbfounded. How dare he call our Lao Zu by his name? At the same time, they were shocked. Considering he knew about their Lao Zu, Xiao Quan-shan, he must be a maniac or someone with the strength to support his declaration. Clearly, the surrounding 50 inborn experts was a glimpse of the strength he possessed. Die. Go and repent when you reach where my mother was. Seeing the wealthy-looking lady standing there and not moving an inch, Xiao Ran could no longer hold back. He charged towards her with his ancient spiritual sword pointing at her. You can't do this. When the old man from the Liang family saw Xiao Ran attacking, his eyes gleamed with struggles and ruthlessness. He held the long sword in his hand tightly. Die. Xiao Ran's eyes were filled with killing intent, and he had shrouded a layer of tranquil blue, heavenly flame over his ancient spiritual sword. Capture him. That's the only way out. The old man from the Liang family struck and waved his long sword towards Xiao Ran the moment he approached. TSK. Xiao Ran felt the attack coming from his blind spot. Having been on the receiving end previously, he was on alert. He emitted blue flames from his body, and the flames on his ancient spiritual sword raged even more violently. Liang family. My grandfather was from a small family, and his entire family was annihilated overnight. This matter definitely had something to do with you guys. All of you are my enemies. Xiao Ran was brimming with anger as he released his inborn aura explosively. Chapter 427. Watching them getting killed one after another. Inborn expert. That juvenile is an inborn expert. All the surrounding people noticed the spooky sapphire flame exploding out from Xiao Ran's body, and they were startled when the imposing aura spread across the entire area. That juvenile who looked so young was actually an inborn expert. How old could he be judging from his appearance? 15 or 16? Everyone was quite certain that this juvenile was not even 18. How is there such a young inborn expert? He's even younger and a level higher than Xiao Fan, an inborn. Unbelievable. Totally unbelievable. How could there be such a young inborn expert in this world? All the surrounding Xiao clan's disciples and inborn experts were appalled as they watched Xiao Ran, who exploded all his strength. What? Such powerful strength, but how can this be? Piak Piak. The old man from the Liang family, who sneaked an attack, was aghast by the aura exploded out by Xiao Ran all of a sudden. The sword was blocked by that juvenile. But to his horror, his sword was broken in half without his knowing. Only when the broken sword fell to the ground was a shrill sound heard. Inborn spiritual weapons, spooky heavenly flame. The old man from Liang family recalled what the skinny old man had said and turned gloomy immediately. Oh no. When the skinny old man saw the clan leader making a sudden strike, his expression was totally different as great despair surged in his heart. He told the clan leader about the inborn spiritual weapons and the heavenly flame. Still, he had not mentioned that they were no match for that juvenile even when he and the fat old man joined hands. Clan leader could have the wrong impression that I was crippled by miracle Dr. Wang, but he didn't know that I barely escaped from that brat. Even though the clan leader was stronger than any one of them, the skinny old man and the fat old man were stronger when they joined hands. Gone. The Liang family is completely finished. The skinny old man revealed a miserable and desperate expression on his face as he looked at Wang Xian and the surrounding 50 inborn experts. He knew that he would never avenge himself. With trembling hands, he pulled out a dagger from his arms. This dagger was prepared to slaughter miracle Dr. Wang. I don't want to witness the downfall of Liang family. The skinny old man gazed at the dagger in his hands with malevolence. Poof! He stabbed the dagger right into his heart. Bam! His body fell straight to the ground. Old Goo! exclaimed the horrified experts from Liang family when they saw old Gu commit suicide. Boom, boom. At this time, the entire region was sealed off by an imposing aura. Everyone spun around. To their horror, they realized the entire region was blockaded by the 50 inborn experts who exploded their inborn aura, to the air and to the ground. Every expert in Shao clan was petrified by this. Stay and witness this. Those who deserve to be killed will die, will not strike at unrelated people. Wang Xian plainly warned everyone on the spot. People from Shao clan grimaced. Since when did the almighty sacred clan, Shao clan, have to be forced to stay put and watch their people being killed? Since the establishment of the Shao clan, there was never a time that they felt so sullen. But looking at the 50 inborn experts, they did not dare to make a single move at all. Ah! Just then, a cry of horror suddenly cut through the air. Everyone hurriedly looked over only to see a bluish flame sticking to the arm of Liang's clan leader. The flame was inextinguishable as it quickly spread to the rest of the body. No. Liang's clan leader picked up the broken sword with trepidation as he wielded it at his own arm. The clan leader of Liang family was an inborn for 30 years. He might not be a pinnacle, but it should have been soon. Look at how he was trounced. With inborn spiritual weapon and heavenly flame, not many inborn experts can compete with this combination. How can that miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown be so scary? He is already Imba. Now he actually coaches another domineering existence. Moreover, he's an inborn expert. Everyone in the Shao family had mixed expression. Father! The wealthy-looking lady let out a despairing cry when she saw her father axing his own arm. Clan leader, go to hell, brat. Liang's inborn experts were horrified as they lunged murderously at Shao Ran for an attack. Boom! Instantly, Mo Qinglong, Mo Yuan, and the other 3 Dragonians charged at that 5 inborn expert when they made their moves. Average half-step to Dan realm experts could fight against 7 to 8 inborn experts. Possessing the strength of a half-step to Dan realm, Mo Qinglong could fight dozens of inborn experts. Killing one was chicken feet to him. Ah! After the Dragonians took the devil's skeletal pills, their domineering bloodline had upped their strength such that they were comparable to pinnacle inborn experts. Mo Yuan was even on par with an average half-step to Dan realm. Instantly, those 5 experts who had tried to strike were killed at once. Blood spattered everywhere. When the old man of Liang family heard the screams of his people, he was devastated. With resoluteness in his eyes, he glared at Shao Ran. I'm not convinced, you little bastard. His body began to burn with blood gushing out of his body, looking horrible. However, the aura exuded from his body was even scarier. Growl! The clan leader of Liang family let out a beast-like cry. This sorcery is known as the Flash of Glory. As more fresh blood burns, more powerful energy will be exploded. The self-consumption is quite high. Hence, it is a taboo technique. Liang Qiangua is burning away all his life. When the old man in the air witnessed the scary sorcery of Liang's clan leader, his face changed. For the next 10 seconds, he will explode the strength of half-step to Dan realm, using his own blood essence as the trigger to perform Flash of Glory. I'm afraid the brat with inborn spiritual weapon and heavenly flame cannot block this, said an old man with a solemn look. Exchanging life for 10-second glory, the Flash of Glory was domineering. The aura exploded by Liang's clan leader forced the surrounding people to take a step back as horror filled their eyes. Kill him, kill him. Shao Fan, with bloodshot eyes, stared at Shao Ran when he saw his grandfather casting the taboo sorcery, igniting his own blood away just for 10 seconds of glory. Quite impressive. Upon seeing the old man from Liang family trying to exchange a life for a life, Wang Xian displayed a faint smile and said, Old Mo, lend a hand to Shao Ran. Yes, young master. As soon as Mo Qinglong spoke, he appeared before Xiao Ran like a phantom. With a cold smile, he stared at the clan leader of Liang family. Grandpa Mo. Xiao Ran was paled by the oppressing aura as he gave a weak cry. Xiao Ran, not bad. I'll stop him for 10 seconds for you, while you kill him. Darn. The surrounding experts from Xiao clan twitched their lips aggressively when they witnessed this. The entire fucking operating series is distinct. When someone besieges you, your master will take them out. If you're not a match, your master will get someone to replace you. Those that can outfight you, you can kill instantly. This is an apparent shielding of them, suppressing them by force. Yet, as the sacred clan, all they could do was watch their shameless act as they performed the massacre. Chapter 428. His last name is Xiao too. Boom! In the field, streams of devilish aura were emitted from Mo Qinglong's body. The devilish aura rotated slowly and eventually formed a black shield. On the shield, there was a vicious-looking devil dragon, which enveloped Xiao, Ran, and him completely. Attack! Mo Qinglong looked plainly at the clan leader of Liang family and remarked. The clan leader of the Liang family could feel his eyes twitching violently. His body, which was emitting terrifying aura, started shaking violently. Breaking down, he was on the verge of tearing. He had ignited his life force in preparation to kill this kid. In the end, an existence who was clearly above the inborn realm protected him and gestured for him to attack. This feeling was insufferable. Arg. The clan leader of the Liang family attacked Mo Qinglong desperately. Rumble. Horrifying strikes brought upon a strong gale that shook the surrounding. Huge explosions reverberated across the entire Xiao clan. However, the attacks of the clan leader from the Liang family couldn't put a dent in Mo Qinglong's defense. He couldn't break his defense at all. If I move a little, it's my loss. Mo Qinglong looked at the clan leader of the Liang family and commented with ridicule. SSS, what a strong defense. That middle-aged man is definitely a half-step to Dan Realm expert. He's isn't just an ordinary half-step to Dan Realm expert. The clan leader of the Liang family must be feeling miserable. He ignited his life force to increase his strength temporarily, and yet the other party was making fun of his attacks. Liang family has a good relationship with our Xiao clan. When the surrounding Xiao clan disciples saw what was happening and heard the highly offensive words from Mo Qinglong, they were shocked, feeling complicated and bitter. Liang family and the Xiao clan had been friends for generations. It wasn't the first time that they had a political marriage. In fact, the most talented disciple in the Xiao clan currently was the grandson of the clan leader of the Liang family. 10 seconds quickly passed, and the clan leader of the Liang family spewed a mouthful of blood. His eyes were fixed on Mo Qinglong, and Xiao ran while he was feeling wretched. Continue. Mo Qinglong moved his arm and retracted his defense, after which he said something to Xiao Ran before returning to the side of Wang Xian. Let me ask you this. Are you guys responsible for the annihilation of my grandfather's family? Xiao Ran pulled a long face, held his ancient spiritual sword tightly, and stared at the clan leader of the Liang family, brimming with killing intent. Cough, cough. So what if we are? The clan leader of the Liang family could sense vitality leaking from his body rapidly. However, he still mustered the strength to glower at Xiao Ran. All I wanted was an answer. No matter what, I'm definitely going to annihilate your Liang family. Xiao Ran nodded his head before piercing the ancient spiritual sword into his waist. Grandpa, Grandma. Xiao Ran mumbled softly to himself. Soon after, he turned his attention towards the wealthy-looking lady and Xiao Fan. Father, father. At this point, the wealthy-looking lady had completely collapsed. Seeing the corpses of her father and the members of the Liang family around her, her body was shivering. When you killed my mother and my grandparents, were you ever expecting this? Xiao Ran stared coldly at the wealthy-looking lady. With the ancient spiritual sword tightly in his grip, he walked towards her, overwhelmed by killing intent. Don't you come over. Don't come over. Xiao Fan was horrified to see Xiao Ran walking towards him. A teenager that was even younger than him had the strength of an inborn expert. This caused the prideful young man to feel completely defeated. Xiao Ran was truly the most talented and powerful teenager. Seeing this teenager approaching him, fear slowly crept up. Xiao Ran lifted his head and looked at this brother of his. With condemning eyes, he remarked, "After killing your mother, I'll kill you. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" The wealthy-looking lady screamed wretchedly upon hearing Xiao Ran. She looked hideous and glowered at Xiao Ran as though she were a female ghost. "Great nanny! Great nanny!" Xiao Fan turned around and called out to the old lady with the truncheon, pitifully. The old lady tightened her grip on the truncheon, turned to Wang Xian and said, "Xiao Fan is the most gifted disciple of our Xiao clan and the future successor. If you kill him, our Xiao clan will not rest until one of us has perished. Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, you have killed so many people for your disciple. No matter how deep the feud is, it should be over now. Let the most outstanding disciple of Xiao clan off as a form of goodwill. Let's end this here right now." The old men in the air shouted solemnly at Wang Xian. The threat of the old lady and the reconciliatory tone of the old man were clearly a display of their attitude. Those who had died previously weren't experts of the Xiao clan after all. However, if Xiao Ran or Wang Xian were to kill the most outstanding disciple of the Xiao clan in this generation, they wouldn't just stand back. "If you guys dare to make a move, I'll annihilate your entire Xiao clan." Wang Xian looked at the old lady and declared coldly, "You." The old lady was flushed and her body was shivering as she stared at Wang Xian. The surrounding members of the Xiao clan were completely silent. That young man clearly wasn't just threatening them. He had the capacity to put his words into action. Xiao Ran smirked and looked at the old lady before turning to Xiao Fan. "Asking for help? How ironic. Can you still remember? 2 years ago, Father asked us to spar after I arrived at the Xiao clan for the very first time. He asked you to guide me in the flame duel, but you torched me till my entire body was burnt red. When I asked our father for help, what did you say? Xiao clan has no cowardly disciple and wouldn't need a cowardly disciple who begs for help. You even asked me to scram. Can you still remember the times you bullied me under the pretense of sparring?" Xiao Ran illustrated slowly. His eyes were turning red and his body was shivering. "Have you forgotten me after not seeing me for just a year? Xiao Fan, I'm Xiao Ran." "What?" Xiao Fan's eyes widened in disbelief. He pointed at Xiao Ran and stammered, "You are Xiao Ran. You are that little trash?" Boom! When Xiao Ran completed his words, the entire Xiao clan was shaken. They were dumbfounded and stared at Xiao Ran in disbelief. He said, he is Xiao Ran. His last name is Xiao. Xiao Ran. Xiao Ran. His last name is Xiao. Oh gosh. Xiao Ran. Xiao Ran. If I recall correctly, third brother once brought back a lady with 2 kids. The boy's name seemed to be Xiao Ran. The surrounding Xiao clan members stared at Xiao Ran. Some of them seemed to have recalled something as they mumbled within themselves. What? The old lady's eyes widened and she couldn't hold back her exclamations. Xiao Ran! Xiao Ran! She didn't have an impression of him. However, from the words of Xiao Ran, she knew that this teenager was the descendant of her grandson and her great-grandson. A direct blood relationship. How can this be? It feels like heaven is playing a joke on us. The crowd of Xiao clan exchanged glances. They were stunned and felt complicated. This teenager's surname was Xiao. He was a disciple of the Xiao clan. A 15-year-old Shao clan's disciple had barged into the Shao clan and started a killing spree. He was returning in such a manner to face the Shao clan. This embarrassed every member of the Shao clan. The first person to have ever killed his way into the Shao clan happened to be their junior. Chapter 4:29 Avenged. All the experts from Shao clan felt irony and bitterness, but subsequently, doubts surfaced on their faces. Why is he here for revenge? He claimed that his mother was killed. All the experts turned their focus to the wealthy-looking lady, Xiao Fan and Xiao Ran. "What the hell is going on?" asked the old lady, whose hands were shaking as she stared at the wealthy-looking lady. The wealthy-looking lady did not answer her. She was pale and quiet. "Xiao Ran, since you're one of the disciples of Shao clan, you'll tell me the truth. We'll stand up for you," said the old lady to Xiao Ran with a darkened expression when she saw the wealthy-looking lady keeping her silence. "Get lost." Xiao Ran bellowed at that old woman. "I don't need the Shao clan to stand up for me. Why would I need you now? Ha!" Xiao Ran scorned. Talking about standing up for him now? Does he still need it? What were they doing in the first place? Xiao Ran swept his cold gaze across all the members of Shao clan. The elders from the general office and pharmacy. "I still remember what you guys said to my mom when she looked for you. All of you shall die too." As Xiao Ran spoke, he pointed the sword at Xiao Fan and lunged forward. "But I'll kill you first, so that your mom can feel the pain of losing kin." "No, don't you dare! Don't you dare!" The wealthy-looking lady screamed crazily. She pulled out a hairpin from her hair and pointed it at Xiao Ran with a ruthless look. The old lady was shaken when Xiao Ran bellowed at her. With a mixed expression, she could not help but cough. Her great-grandson had actually turned his back on her and chided her. "You think you're fit to stop me?" Xiao Ran looked at the wealthy-looking lady with cold eyes as he slashed the ancient spiritual sword at her. "Ah!" The wealthy-looking lady let out a devastating scream. Even though she was a strong level 9 martial artist, she was not in Xiao Ran's league. As the sword swept across, the wealthy-looking lady's arm was slashed off. The sword continued its stance as it was wielded at Xiao Fan. "No, don't kill me." Xiao Fan was petrified as he quickly fled. As the future successor and the most outstanding disciple of Shao clan, Xiao Fan chickened out and dared not fight with Xiao Ran at all. The so-called sacred clan's supreme talent was nothing like a clown now. "I'll kill you with the move that you used to humiliate me. Flame Stream." Xiao Ran wielded the ancient spiritual sword. Sheets of tranquil blue heavenly flame transformed into blazing streamers, shooting at Xiao Fan. Ah! Xiao Fan did his best to dodge, but both his legs were hit by the sapphire flame. He let out a painful cry as he witnessed his legs vanishing rapidly. Desperation filled his eyes. "Son, my son!" Hearing the shrieks coming from his son when the tranquil blue heavenly flame enveloped him, the wealthy-looking lady cried out in agony. What a daunting flame! Sigh! All the people from Shao clan were stunned and astonished by what they saw. Their feelings were complicated when they looked at Xiao Fan. "Go to hell, too." Xiao Ran pointed his sword at the wealthy-looking lady and killed her in a single move. "Come on out, you two elders." Xiao Ran cast a look at the wealthy-looking lady and Xiao Fan, who had been reduced to ashes. He felt relieved as he turned to the other two elders. Both of them had constant, mixed expression. All the surrounding experts of Shao clan were watching them, yet no one spoke a word. Now, they finally understood something, and they were at a loss of words. Ultimately, it was Shao clan's doing that a demon like Zhao's disciple came here for his revenge. Based on the current situation, nobody could interfere with this. That Zhao's disciple had found himself a formidable master. Upon seeing all the surrounding clan members holding their tongues, the two elders' faces went pale. They knew that they were completely finished this time. Never did they expect that befriending that wealthy-looking lady would land them in such a state today. Indeed, no one should bully the young ones. With 2 agonizing cries sounding off in the Shao clan, Shao Ran had eliminated all his enemies. He'd taken his revenge. Bam! Shao Ran knelt before Wang Xian with tears rolling down his cheeks. "Thank you, master. I have avenged my mum and the rest. Since you've taken your revenge, we can leave now." Wang Xian patted his shoulder with a smile and got him to stand up. "Let's go. You must practice hard from now on because you can only depend on yourself in the future. The true strength lies in yourself." As Wang Xian spoke, he slowly stalked out. Shao Ran stood up with a forceful nod and followed behind him. Phew! As the Dragonians retreated, 50 of them simply strutted out of the mansion. All the disciples of Shao clan heaved a sigh of relief but remained silent. As they looked at the corpses on the floor, there was embarrassment, anger, humiliation, and complicated looks on them. Nobody shall breathe a word to anyone regarding what happened tonight. The old man in the air slowly descended as he issued warnings to the surrounding disciples. They could not afford to throw their faces away with someone barging into the mighty sacred clan and left after killing a dozen people, especially when this was an ironic matter that involved a member of Shao clan exacting his revenge. A victim member returning for revenge was the root of the problem. If word got around, the entire Shao clan would be a laughingstock. Lao Tzu has been informed. He's furious about it. If this is not handled properly, everyone will have a difficult life. The current clan leader of Shao clan spoke with bitterness. This matter involved the most outstanding disciple of Shao clan, his mother and 2 elders. They had joined hands to destroy a member of Shao clan. Moreover, he was such a super formidable disciple. A disciple who had advanced to Inborn Realm at a mere age of 15. The severity of this matter infuriated Lao Tzu more than someone killing members of Shao clan. Shao Ran miracled Dr. Wang. As the experts watched the figures disappearing into the dark, their eyes blinked. Eventually everyone exclaimed. Wang Xian chuckled, and upon seeing Shao Ran in a trance after exacting his revenge, said, "It's time you think about how you're going to lead your life now." Since he had taken his revenge, he had lost the goal in his life. It was time to think about how to lead his life from now on. Wang Xian would not interfere with his life. He could only take care of his disciple for the time being, and not for his entire life. He would be on his own in the future. "Thank you, master." Shao Ran lifted his chin and looked at Wang Xian as he nodded with force. A new chapter of life had begun. Chapter 430. Everything settled. Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. Father. At approximately 3 to 4 a.m., no one in the entire Shao clan was asleep. In the sacred mountain of the Shao clan, all the members of the Shao clan had gathered. Even 10-year-old kids were present. When a bald old man flew in, all the members of the Shao clan stood up and greeted the old man respectfully. The bald old man was still reflecting some light, even at night, off his head and had extremely thick eyebrows. Overall, he looked rather comical. However, everyone in the Shao clan was shivering in fear when facing of this old man. A long time ago, 2 men had been widely addressed as the explosive duo. At that time, they were both exceptionally famous. One of them was the Lao Tzu of the Sui clan, Sui Huang, and the other was the Lao Tzu of the Shao clan, Shao Quanshan. Both of them were fire attribute cultivators and had explosive tempers. Subsequently, Sui Huang started refining elixir pills which wore away his fiery temper. At that time, members of the Sui clan recalled Sui Huang's roars reverberating throughout the entire clan when he first started refining elixir pills. Subsequently, refining elixir pills had honed his temper. This made the members of the Shao clan extremely envious. Not only did their Lao Tzu's temper not improve, but it got even worse. Once, two disciples of the Shao clan committed illegal acts. There, Lao Tzu slaughtered both of them before the entire clan without reserve. Everyone was afraid of his fiery temper. "Speak. What's this all about?" The old man stopped in the middle. He didn't sit down and simply looked across the crowd as he demanded coldly. "Lao Tzu, Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, led 50 inborn experts to our sacred clan at night. Tell me about Shao Fan first." Shao Quanshan interrupted the clan leader of the Shao clan loudly. "Yes, yes." The clan leader of the Shao clan wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead while recollecting the incident. "The cause of this matter is because a 6th-generation disciple of Shao clan married the daughter of the clan leader of the Liang family. Subsequently, he had another woman outside with a boy and a girl. The boy had exceptional talents and was brought back to the Shao clan. He was badly treated by the daughter of the clan leader of the Liang family. Moreover, she attempted to assassinate them with poison. Subsequently, the 3 of them fled and were pursued by assassins hired by the daughter of the clan leader of the Liang family. After a year of being pursued, the mother of the boy and girl was killed. In the end, the boy and girl were rescued by Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown, who took the boy in as his disciple. They were here today to seek revenge. Among those who oppressed the mother and 2 kids, there were 2 5th-generation elders. I don't care how many women or kids you guys have outside the clan. I'm asking you why there are intentional killings and oppression within the Shao clan. Tell me." When Shao Quanshan heard the explanation of the clan leader of Shao clan, he chided loudly. He looked across every single person before him and remarked, "This even involves the management of the Shao clan. Are you guys courting death?" Shao Quanshan berated the members of the Shao clan. "As for you, you can stop being the clan leader. Our Shao clan has the least members among the 3 main sacred clans in Shangjing, and yet you can't even deal with this appropriately." The clan leader of the Shao clan paled and nodded his head immediately. "Yes, Lao Tzu. Who else was involved in this matter? All those who know about this, step forward now." Shao Quanshan took a glance at the clan leader of the Shao clan before berating once again. "I don't believe that only those 2 trash that were killed knew about this and condoned the oppression. You better step forward now. If you don't blame me for not being courteous if I learn otherwise in the future." Below him, some members of the Shao clan had turned as pale as chalk. 6 women and 5 old men stepped forward bitterly. "TSK, quite a few of you." Shao Quanshan snorted. "The imprisonment area of the sacred mountain happens to be empty. Every single one of you shall reflect on what you've done in it for a year." The group who stepped forward shivered, and cold sweat had broken out on their foreheads. "How old is that Shao Ran now?" Shao Quanshan diverted the subject and asked. "Lao Tzu, Shao Ran is currently 15 years and 8 months old. He possesses a heavenly flame and an inborn spiritual weapon," replied the clan leader of the Shao clan immediately. When he heard about Shao Ran's age, Shao Quanshan was shocked too. He was definitely the only 15-year-old inborn expert throughout history, reaching the inborn realm at the age of 15. Excitement gleamed in the eyes of Shao Quanshan. He has close to a 90% chance of stepping into the Dan realm in the future. That Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown has likely invested huge resources into him to groom him into an inborn expert. He even gave Shao Ran a heavenly flame and inborn spiritual weapon. Damn, our Shao clan finally gets a demon-like talent, and yet he ends up going against us. All of you are useless. Damn, get 20 guys to come with me to invite that kid back to our clan. We can't let this type of demon-like talent walk off. Shao Quanshan instructed the crowd. Soon after, he moved and entered into the depths of the sacred mountain. All of you go get yourself prepared to welcome that kid back. When I die, a talented teenager like him could at least still protect our Shao clan for another 100 years. Shao Quanshan's voice reverberated across. The next instant, all the members of the Xiao clan started moving. No one dared to delay or slack off. Ah, Master, I want to become an expert. I want to be able to protect Master in the future to repay this gratitude. I want to protect my sister. On the second day, Xiao Ran looked at Wang Xian and spoke seriously after returning from Shangjing. Wang Xian looked at him, smiled, sipped on a mouthful of tea, and responded, "All right, Master, I wish to head out and roam the world myself." Xiao Ran paused for a moment before continuing. "Now that my strength has reached the inborn realm, I wish to roam the world and achieve something for myself." Huh. Wang Xian was slightly surprised. He hesitated for a moment, but still nodded his head. "You can choose your own path. The underworld is scheming and perilous. If you encounter any issues, your master will seek revenge for you. Rest assured, Master, I'll be careful." Xiao Ran gave Wang Xian a radiant smile. After a year of running, and after experiencing the incidents over the last few days, his mindset had changed substantially. Even a 20 to 30-year-old man might not be as mature as him. Wang Xian looked at Xiao Ran and scrutinized him from head to toe once again. His composure and determined gaze wasn't something that belonged to one of his age and maturity. As long as he did not die prematurely, he would definitely not be ordinary. "Haha, is Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown Inn? I have long heard of the big name of Miracle Dr. Wang, and I am here to pay you a visit today." At this juncture, a rough voice came from outside the villa. Wang Xian was taken aback and said to Xiao Ran, "Go take a look." "Yes, Master." Xiao Ran nodded his head and headed towards the door of the villa. When he saw the bald old man standing before the door, he had his suspicions. "Who are you? What matters do you have with my master?" Cough, cough. The bald old man scrutinized Xiao Ran from top to bottom and was satisfied with what he saw. "You are a pretty good-looking kid. I have long heard about your master's name and have brought presents to pay him a visit. Can you allow me in?" Chapter 431. Outstanding Young Heroes Competition. Xiao Ran pulled his eyebrows together when he saw that old man. He could tell that this bald old man was not someone simple, but he did not seem to have feigned kindness on his face, and the way he looked at him was a little queer. Suddenly he recalled someone. "Haha, I heard that your master loves tea. This is the dahongpo grown on the mother trees. One caddy costs a few million. No average people can get this." The bald old man raised the gift in his hands and grinned at Xiao Ran. "Come in." Xiao Ran looked deeply at him before he walked into the villa. "Master, there's an old man here who admires you. I don't know what his agenda is." "Oh, let the old man in." Wang Xian nodded. As his voice trailed off, a bald old man stalked in as he grinned. His eyes narrowed when he saw Wang Xian. When Wang Xian looked at that bald old man, he squinted his eyes too as he sensed the daunting energy in his body. He then recalled someone who Sui Huang had mentioned before. "Are you here to question our sins?" asked Wang Xian to the old man with a grin. "No such thing. I'm here to express my gratitude to Miracle Dr. Wang. This is the dahongpo grown from the mother trees. How is it? Does it please you?" The old man walked over with a broad smile. Without any formality, he sat beside Wang Xian. "Your business is none of my business." Wang Xian fixed his eyes on the old man with a beam. He turned to Xiao Ran. "Open this and make me a cup of tea." The old man twitched his mouth. Since Wang Xian had seen through his intention, his tongue was tied. If he were to ask Xiao Ran straight away, he did not think he had a chance. So he wanted to befriend Miracle Dr. Wang so that he could put in some good word for him. "Old Xiao, do you want some?" Xiao Ran asked plainly as he looked at Xiao Quan-shan when he poured a cup for Wang Xian. "Okay." Xiao Quan-shan was smiling, but his face suddenly stiffened up. His eyes were fixed on Xiao Ran. "You recognized me?" "I stayed in the Xiao clan for about a year. I may not have seen you." but I have heard about you. Xiao Ran answered Xiao Quan without any emotion. You're indeed one of us. What a smart boy. Xiao Quan looked at the nonchalant Xiao Ran and chuckled with embarrassment. He was a little awkward as a bad feeling arose. This Xiao Ran was simply too calm and too mature. His EQ was far better than those members in the Xiao family. The more Xiao Ran behaved in this way, the lower the possibility that he had to bring him back to Xiao clan. Xiao Ran gave a faint smile. He placed the teacup before him and signaled for him to drink it. Xiao Quan grinned. Being someone with a fiery temper, this was far trickier than he thought. Wang Xian giggled by the side. He took out his phone to play, ignoring both of them. He would not interfere in Xiao Ran's matters. Even if Xiao Ran decided to return to Xiao clan, Wang Xian had no opinion about it. Xiao Ran, after I found out about you yesterday, I was in grief and melancholy. I rushed back to the clan at night and taught that bunch of people a lesson. Xiao Ran, my poor child, it has been hard for you. Xiao Quan gritted his teeth and spoke with a gentle voice. I can return to the Xiao clan. Suddenly Xiao Ran spoke to Xiao Quan. What, you agree? Xiao Quan was stunned as he looked at Xiao Ran with disbelief. Things were going way too easy. This was totally unexpected for him. But I have a few conditions. Xiao Ran looked at him and added, What conditions? Tell me, and I'll fulfill all of them. Xiao Quan stared at him with excitement. He had a vibrant facial expression. First, I want to be the clan leader of Xiao clan. Sure, the former one has been kicked out by me. Second, I want to have the right to mobilize Xiao clan's enforcer team. No problem, the clan leader has the right. Third, I must have absolute freedom. Haha, this is not a problem. That's all. That's all? Only 3? I, Lao Zhu, have already prepared 8 palanquins to take you back. Haha. Xiao Quan was so thrilled that he almost jumped. Things were much easier than he thought. Gosh, no doubt the Xiaos share the same genes as me. Cool. Master, I'm returning to the Xiao clan. Now I have some power on my own. Tell me if you need any help. I'll definitely assist you in the future. Xiao Ran grinned at Wang Xian as he spoke. Xiao Chuanshan's laughter froze on his face as his lips could not stop twitching. Sure, it's good that you're going back to the Xiao clan and can become a clan leader of a sacred clan. I'll wait for you to make a name in the underworld. Wang Xian smiled as he stood up and gave a pat on Xiao Ran's shoulder. Yes, master. I'll achieve it, said Xiao Ran firmly. Return with him. You can visit us when you're free. Oh, and bringing some good tea will do. Look for me if you meet any difficulties, said Wang Xian with a broad smile. Bam. Xiao Ran knelt on the floor with red eyes. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Master, it's not life and death now. Enough, just go. Wang Xian smiled and waved a dismissive hand. Miracle Dr. Wang is indeed a loyal friend. We're friends now. Xiao Quan chuckled as he swung his arm. A folding fan and a flame bead were placed on the table. This is a small token. Thank you for saving the outstanding disciple of Xiao clan. You're welcome. Upon seeing the flame bead, Wang Xian put on a broad smile. Xiao Ran, let's go. Return to the Xiao clan with glory. I'll announce to the underworld the return of my super genius disciple of Xiao clan. Haha. Xiao Quan chortled as he spoke to Xiao Ran with thrills. Xiao Ran nodded and again bowed to Wang Xian before he left with Xiao Quan. Good tea. Wang Xian smiled. The flame bead caught his eyes, and he picked it up from the table. Purple Inferno, level 10. The flame bead was not red. Instead, it was giving off a level 10 purple flame. Wang Xian was satisfied with the corrosive flame. Hey, this fan is not ordinary. Golden Ivory Fan, level 10. TSK, this Xiao Quan is interesting. I gave a heavenly flame, an inborn spiritual weapon, to Xiao Ran. He returned me a flame bead and an inborn spiritual weapon. Wang Xian chuckled as he flicked his palm. The golden ivory fan unfolded, revealing a sharp metal radiance. An impressive sharp weapon. After Xiao Ran's matter was settled, Wang Xian had his free time again. Together with Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingyue, Wang Xian spent shameless time with them, enjoying himself, feeling refreshed every day. Rapid progression in the establishment of the floating island was ongoing while the Dragonians continued to roam around in the underworld for spiritual grasses and spiritual stones. Yet the underworld broke out more shocking news during those 5 days. Incredible talent found in Sacred Clan of Shangjing. 15-year-old inborn expert became the youngest clan leader of Xiao Clan. Demon-like talents frequently making an appearance. 5 30-year-old inborn experts suppressed 3 first-class forces and obtained level 5 spiritual grass. Another appearance of the demon-like talents. 7 inborn experts who were below 30 killed a sea monster at Sky Mountain. They completed the 4th mission of the underworld and gained 1,000 spiritual stones. The son of Hai Jiao, young lord of Sea Serpent Island, had shown up in the underworld, aiming for the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. With the sprouting of young talents in the underworld, everyone was looking to make a name on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Chapter 432. Gathering of the Outstanding Heroes 1. The biannual Outstanding Young Heroes competition was about to start. For all young disciples, this was a grand event. They could compete for supremacy among the youths of the underworld, challenge the strongest experts in their generation, and aim to reach the top of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. They could become the strongest champion among the youths. For every young disciple, this was a dream and a form of motivation. The thought of standing above the entire generation of youths made everyone excited for the competition. The Outstanding Young Heroes competition was not just a stage for the young disciples. At the same time, it was a stage for sacred sects and powerful forces to display their strength. The strength of the young generation also represented the future of a force. As compared to before, the current Outstanding Young Heroes competition was attracting way more attention. There were too many geniuses and demon-like talents that had mushroomed out. In the past, one could be ranked in the top 5 when one reached the inborn realm. However, the news over the past year had been more and more explosive and impressive. Even those experienced inborn experts were at a loss for words over why the current young generation had become so terrifying. Just a while ago, the 20-year-old miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown emerged from nowhere. He killed 4 to 5 inborn experts and was widely regarded as the strongest on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. The entire underworld was shaken and countless people were dumbfounded. However, an even more demon-like existence emerged from the Xiao clan 4 days ago. He was an unparalleled demon-like talent which many regarded as having started his cultivation when he was still in his mother's womb. A 15-year-old inborn expert and the current clan leader of the sacred clan, Xiao Clan. He was the youngest clan leader of a sacred clan and the very first in history. When the news came from the Xiao clan, everyone in the underworld was shocked. This had completely refreshed the norms many people had taken for granted. A 15-year-old inborn expert. What a terrifying existence he was. When they were 15 years old, how strong were they? Level 3 or level 4 martial artists. The appearance of one after another demon-like existence made countless people speechless. When more and more young inborn experts emerged in the underworld, people were going crazy about it. With over 10 inborn experts around the age of 30 participating in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, the competition would be exceptionally explosive and competitive. Those who hadn't reached half-step to inborn wouldn't even make it to the chart. Brother, are you going for the Outstanding Young Heroes competition? I'll be going with my master and the sect tomorrow. At night, Xiaoyu called and asked excitedly when Wang Xian was having dinner with Guan Shuqing, Lan Qingyue, and Sun Lingxiu. Yeah, we're joining in for the show tomorrow, Wang Xian replied with a smile. The entire underworld had been about the youth competition over the past few years, and he had prepared to go and take a look, to witness the strength of the current generation of experts in the underworld. In addition, Wang Xian had another task. That was none other than announcing to all that he would be establishing a sacred sect. The truth was, Wang Xian had some of the matters arranged and settled. For example, the Dragonians. He wanted to shock the entire underworld with the establishment of a sacred sect, Dragon Sect. The current outstanding Young Heroes competition happened to be a great opportunity. At that time, the Dragon Sect would be established, and he would invite all sects to pay pilgrimage to him. Wang Xian's lips curved into a smile. Let's meet at Huashan then. All right, brother. Haha. At that time, I'll be announcing the advancement of the Thistles and Thorns sect to a first-class force. Hee. With my master and I around, our Thistles and Thorns sect will be known throughout the entire underworld. Xiaoyu said contentedly. All right. All hail the great sect leader Xiaoyu. Sect leader Xiaoyu shall be recorded in history forever and will rule the world. Wang Xian teased. Hee. I'll protect you in the future. Xiaoyu laughed proudly. After a brief casual chat, they hung up the phone. With Xiaoyu and Elder Fang's current strength, no one will likely be a match for them unless you participate too. Guan Shuqing said to Wang Xian with a smile. Yeah, no one will be a match for them. Wang Xian nodded his head. Considering the strength of Xiaoyu and Elder Fang, no one in the younger generation could possibly defeat them. Even Mo Qinglong was a far cry from them now. After turning into the skeletal dragons, they could even fight on par with Dan realm experts. With their strength, no one would have differing views if they announced their ascension to a sacred sect. I used to be the strongest, and now I'm the weakest. Guan Shuqing grumbled unhappily. You are considering yourself weak? You could release such tremendous flames the moment you reached the Inborn realm. Even a pinnacle Inborn expert would be exhausted to death against you. Wang Xian joked. A few days ago, Guan Shuqing had finally reached the Inborn realm. After reaching the Inborn realm, the flame within her body underwent huge changes. The flames she could release were even more terrifying than the tranquil, blue, heavenly flame. What was most horrifying about her was that the flames within her seemed to be limitless. When Sui Huang asked her to launch long-range attacks, Guan Shuqing released a full hour of flames without feeling the least bit of fatigue or exhaustion. With limitless flames, huge, long-range attacks would be just tricks to her. Sui Huang was stunned for a long time. The next day, he informed her that he would be heading overseas to get her a fire attribute long-range attack skill. In other words, he was looking for attacking techniques of magicians in Euramerica. At this juncture, Guan Shuqing could simply act as a flamethrower tower. I'm still really weak in close combat, chuckled Guan Shuqing. All right, let's finish our dinner quickly and go to bed. We still have a long journey tomorrow. Wang Xian said sheepishly. Lan Qingyue and Guan Shuqing rolled their eyes at him, while Sun Lingxiu was flushed with embarrassment. With her current cultivation attainment, she could hear clearly any movements within the villa. Recently, she had heard all kinds of sounds. On the next morning, Wang Xian headed towards Huashan with the three girls. Huashan was a mystical place in Chinese novels. It was most famous for the discussion of swords. The outstanding Young Heroes competition would be held in Huashan. The competition wasn't held in the scenic region of Huashan. Instead, it was an isolated region. However, the region wasn't open yet. As the winter holidays had just passed and it was the winter season, there weren't many tourists around. Nonetheless, there were still lots of people around. Most of them were martial artists who used long swords or short daggers. They wore neat uniforms from various sects and families and looked exceptionally imposing. The scholars of Jiangnan couldn't possibly be a match. Wang Xian was in exceptionally elaborate attire. He had Zhan Lu's sword beside his waist and a golden fan in his hand. 3 beautiful ladies stood beside him with Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan following closely behind them. He resembled a rich and young man. Flap! The fan was extended. Wang Xian chuckled. Dears, let's find accommodation first. Can you act more decently? There's a hotel ahead. Let's head there before we climb the Huashan in a while. Lan Qingyue rolled her eyes at him. Soon after, the group of 6 headed towards the hotel ahead of them. When they entered the hotel, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan stepped ahead immediately to reserve rooms. Wang Xian stood behind with his fan and beautiful ladies as companions. He was just like a wasted rich young man illustrated in novels. Chapter 433. Gathering of the Outstanding Heroes 2. Xiao Xian, if I pass you a birdcage now, you'll look like the walking wasted rich young man in the novel. After they came out of the hotel, Guan Shuqing teased the way Wang Xian was dressed. Really? Wang Xian chuckled as he fanned himself. Bam! Suddenly, a figure was hurled towards him at this time. Wang Xian made a quick move and dodged it. He looked over his shoulder and spotted a young man on the floor. The young man held a sword as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Haha, what? Prince Jade Sword. Look at you now. Are you fit to be the 8th on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart? Ridiculous. Coupled with a scornful voice, a young man stalked over as he checked out the young man on the floor with a slightly lifted chin. He's Bei Wuying, the future successor of Bei family in Yuan City. He also succeeded the Northern Kick and advanced to Inborn Realm. I think he just advanced into the Inborn Realm. Guess he will have a placing in the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Prince Jade Sword, 8th on the chart, was easily defeated by him. There are so many talents this year. Last time, this successor of the Northern Kick couldn't even make it on the chart. It's a surprise to see him with formidable strength. Everyone around gasped in astonishment. It was big news for the 8th ranking on the chart to be easily defeated. Ahem, you defeated me with a dozen strokes, even after you advanced to Inborn Realm. How dare you be insolent? I'm younger than you, by 5 years old. Within the next years, I'm 100% sure that I'm going to advance to Inborn Realm. Till then, no one will know the outcome, said Prince Jade Sword, who was lying on the floor. Upon hearing Bei Wuying's mockery, he wiped the blood at the corner of his lips with pride. Lad, you're still not convinced. Bei Wuying darkened his expression at Prince Jade Sword's words. He overlooked Prince Jade Sword and asked, Humph, of course not. You only have a few more years of practice than me. Why should I be convinced? Unyieldingly, Prince Jade Sword fixed his eyes on Bei Wuying. Don't you know when you're the weaker one, you should endure the hardship patiently? Otherwise, you'll die if you act insolently when you can't outfight others. Straight away, Bei Wuying moved as he lunged at Prince Jade Sword with both legs turning into afterimages. Prince Jade Sword was aghast as he quickly brought up his sword at his chest. Bam! Yet, when the terrifying power swept onto his chest, his face was horrified. Since you said I'm weak, I'll show you the power of whirling Umbra Kick. Killing intent filled the eyes of Bei Wuying as afterimages formed at his legs. Instantly, they enveloped Prince Jade Sword. Bei Wuying is out to kill. Oh no, that Prince Jade Sword is going to be killed. That Prince Jade Sword did not want to concede defeat either. He didn't want to admit that he lost. If you're not a match of others, you should have just admitted it. Now he's finished. Bam, bam, bam. Coupled with the whispers in the surroundings, a loud banging sound was heard. Ah, if you kill me, my family will not let you off. Humph. Do you think your family is a sacred clan? Would the Bei family be afraid of you? With a frosty face, Bei Wuying did not stop his kick. Prince Jade's sword groaned without stopping as his eyes were filled with trepidation. Go to hell. At this time, Bei Wuying gave a low bellow as the afterimages of his legs quickly merged into one. The dark shadow of a kick swept towards Prince Jade's sword. No. A cry of panic came from his mouth as Prince Jade's sword's body was thrown far away. In the air, everyone could see his deformed body. Courting your own doom. There was a murderous aura surrounding Bei Wuying as he swept his cold gaze at Prince Jade's sword's body. SSS, he's dead. The number 8 on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart was killed by someone who has no ranking. He's far too strong by gathering all the virtual images for an attack. Could Bei Wuying be the dark horse of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart? Everyone looked at him with awe. His strength was so mighty that he could kill the talent ranked 8th on the chart easily. Humph. When Bei Wuying noticed the crowd was discussing him in low voices, he exhibited a haughty look. We have many talents this year. How dare a half-step to inborn expert play punk, really asking for his own death. As he spoke, he inserted his hands into his pockets as he stalked by the side with a proud look. Get lost! Hundreds of people gathered around him, and the way to the hotel was blocked. You're the one in our way. As Bei Wuying was heading their way, Guan Shuqing was displeased upon hearing his reprimand. Her. Bei Wuying raised his eyebrow when he heard Guan Shuqing. He looked over with a pair of ghastly eyes. He looked around and eventually stopped in Guan Shuqing's direction. Let me tell you this. There's only one way in this underworld, the victory road. Losers have no way out. Get lost now, he shouted again. Several young men who walked out of the hotel quickly stepped aside as they dared not refute. Just like Bei Wuying had said, speak with fists. That's right. Upon hearing Bei Wuying's comment, Wang Xian nodded his head in agreement. There's only one way in this underworld, the victory road. In that case, you can get lost, said Wang Xian dryly, picking up his golden ivory fan and pointing at Bei Wuying. Her. Seeing Wang Xian standing before him, pointing at him with the fan in his hand, there was only coldness in Bei Wuying's eyes. Asking me to get lost? Looks like I have to do my killing spree today. More, and more people have a death wish. Haha. Wang Xian chuckled at his words. He peered at the corpse at the side. What he said was right. Your strength is just SOO. How dare you put on airs when you just became an inborn? Her. Who is this young man? He's so young. I've never seen him before. Not sure which family or sacred sect he's from, but since he dares to provoke Bei Wuying, he must be an inborn level expert. This is going up against Bei Wuying. What qualification does this young man have? Perhaps he's just some rich man's son. He's even holding a folding fan. How coquettish! To their astonishment, the surrounding people began to comment about Wang Xian when they saw Wang Xian holding the golden ivory fan. Since you said my strength is SOSO, come and have a taste of it. Rage surged in Bei Wuying's eyes. He had been taunted by ignorant fellows time and time again. It looked like he had yet to establish his reputation. I must kill more people to establish the reputation of Bei Wuying so that everyone can respect me. Bei Wuying grinned as he revealed a creepy look. Chapter 434 Gathering of the Supreme Talents 3. I don't care if you are from a sacred clan or a sacred sect. Just get lost and stop getting in my way. A disdainful voice came from Bei Wuying. He lifted his right leg straight away and swept towards Wang Xian's head. That young man is finished. Young disciples these days are getting more and more arrogant. Seeing Bei Wuying attacking, a middle-aged man shook his head slowly. Bam! However, as he finished his words, a clashing sound reverberated. Everyone was taken aback and quickly looked in the direction where the sound came from. What? He blocked it? He blocked it with just a fan? He could stop an attack from Bei Wuying? What's the strength of that young man? It can't be. It can't be that the young man is also an inborn expert. Exclaims came from the surrounding crowd as they stared blankly at the young man who stopped Bei Wuying's right kick with a golden fan. Since when would any young man on the streets have such terrifying strength? Seeing his attack being stopped by Wang Xian and feeling the intense pain cruising from his legs, Bei Wuying was astonished and jumped back immediately. It seems like I have underestimated you. Now you can die. Bei Wuying jumped into the air and kicked towards Wang Xian's head once again. His legs were moving so rapidly that they left afterimages. Wang Xian lifted his golden ivory fan and tapped towards these afterimages. Every time he tapped, Bei Wuying's expression turned a little more solemn as fear crept upon him. Shit! Feeling his legs going numb, he immediately retreated. Swish! At this moment, Wang Xian opened his golden ivory fan. As he waved his arm, a golden glow shot out from all 18 parts of the metal structure. What? Bei Wuying was flabbergasted. Seeing the metal glows that were approaching him rapidly, he gritted his teeth and swung out his right leg with forceful wind. Ka! Arg! However, the sounds of bones cracking reverberated. Bei Wuying grimaced in pain and fell to the ground. Both of his legs were drenched in blood. In some areas, the wounds were so deep that one could even see the bone. There were even cracks that appeared on the bone. Bam! Bei Wuying fell heavily onto the floor. He looked fearfully towards his legs, and his body was shivering. How can you be so strong? His eyes widened and were filled with disbelief. A young brat that popped out of nowhere was able to easily defeat him. How? How can this be possible? Lots of young and promising talents have emerged this year. For a preliminary inborn expert to be so arrogant, you must be tired of living. Wang Xian looked at Bei Wuying, who was on the ground, with contempt and returned the same words to him. Time to go. Let's go climb the mountain. Wang Xian turned around and flapped open the fan in his hand as he spoke to Guan Shuqing, Lan Qingyue, and the group, after which the group strutted away as though they owned the streets. This. Bei Wuying was defeated so easily. That young man is incredibly strong. Who's that young man? Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown uses a sword while that young man uses a fan. I don't think they are the same person. Could it be that he's the demon-like genius from the Shao clan? He isn't the demon-like genius from the Shao clan. The demon-like genius from Shao clan also uses a sword. Moreover, all the people from the Shao clan practice the fire attribute. Another young inborn expert? There are simply too many young inborn experts that have emerged in the underworld recently. The 8th-ranked talent in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition had been easily defeated, and now the one who defeated him was easily crushed by another young man. The Outstanding Young Heroes competition this year was truly frightening. Seeing the group disappearing from their sight, the crowd was still dumbfounded. Other than some people in Southern Province, not many people in the underworld knew what Wang Xian looked like. Therefore, they had not managed to make the connection between the young man using a fan and Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Furthermore, many demon-like talents had emerged in the underworld recently. In their perspective, Wang Xian was just another one. The Outstanding Young Heroes competition this year is indeed going to be more exciting and incredible than before. Wang Xian heard the comments of the crowd and couldn't help but smirk. This was because the Dragonians would give all final participants a surprise. Shao Xian, let's go to the mountain peak. The sun is setting, and we can catch a glimpse of the sunset. Lan Qingyue and the girls rushed Wang Xian as they headed towards the peak of Huashan. There weren't many tourists at the various scenic spots of Huashan. The girls headed towards the highest peak enthusiastically. When they arrived at the peak of the mountain, the sun happened to be setting. The evening sun illuminated the entire Huashan, creating a breathtaking scene before their eyes. Take a look there. That's the Zhongfang Immortal Bridge. Suddenly, Guan Shuqing pointed in a direction as she exclaimed loudly. At the southern cliff of Sanqing Hall on Huashan, one could vaguely spot a rainbow-like bridge. Shadows of people overlapped on the bridge as though there was a gathering of immortals. Zhongfang Immortal Bridge. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he recalled a poem. The incredible art of the heavens, as though walking on the back of the rainbow, high into the sky of the birds and down to the soil of the capital. People flocking to the extravagant palace, while deity Zijing plays the flute under the moon. When silence filled the night with loneliness, only the faint breeze could be heard. This was the description of Zhongfang Immortal Bridge on Huashan. Zhongfang Immortal Bridge was a rather mystical scenic spot of Huashan. At different times, one would see different illusions of Zhongfang Immortal Bridge. Why does it feel like there's a space at that spot? Wang Xian frowned and squinted his eyes at the Zhongfang Immortal Bridge. His senses were telling him that there seemed to be a material spatial world in that place. As the sun fully set, the illusions of the Zhongfang Immortal Bridge gradually dissipated. The enthusiasm of the girls also declined accordingly. Let's head back. I'm hungry. Guan Shuqing rubbed her tummy and said with a grin. All right, let's go back. Wang Xian put aside his queries as he headed down the mountain with the group. However, what happened in the competition ground of Huashan today had caused a huge ruckus in the underworld. Bei Wuing, who practiced the northern kick, killed Prince Jade Sword easily. The next moment, a young man with a golden fan easily crippled Bei Wuing's legs. Heavenly sounds linger. The fifth-ranked talent admits defeat to the fairy from Heavenly Sound Sect. Flower Monk annihilated a first-class force instantly with his Buddha beads. A mysterious young man was lifted by 4 half-step to inborn experts on a carriage up Huashan. The arrival of the sacred clan, Shao Clan, the youngest inborn expert in history, shows himself. Various bit of information spread from Huashan as the people in the underworld discussed fervently. The experts that became known to the public because they'd fought today were enough to shock everyone, and added colors to the outstanding young heroes competition this year. The mysterious young man with golden fan, the saintess that resembled a fairy from the Heavenly Sound Sect, the terrifying flower monk, the mysterious young man in the carriage, and the youngest inborn expert in history, and the young lord of Sea Serpent Island who had announced he would be coming but had not shown himself. The number of terrifying young experts had now reached 6. This was after the exclusion of the defeated inborn expert, Bei Wuing. As for the exact number of supreme talents that had not been discovered, no one really knew. Nonetheless, the entire underworld could already expect that the contest of this year's Outstanding Young Heroes competition would be exceptionally intense and brutal. It would be a once-in-a-decade festival. No one knew who would become the champion of the younger generation. Chapter 435, Saints and Saintesses. Have Xiao Yu and the rest arrived? The next day morning, Wang Xian asked Guan Shuqing, who was talking to Xiao Yu on the phone. Yes, they just reached the hotel, and they are having breakfast with the members of Thistles and Thorns sect. We'll meet at the entrance to the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. The competition is finally starting today. I can't wait. Wang Xian chuckled as he looked at the restaurant in the hotel. Most of the martial artists were younger ones, while the older generation was tagging along. The Outstanding Young Heroes competition is not child's play, and it is normal to sustain injuries or get killed in the competition. The competition this year is fucking crazy. I thought I could get into the top 20 since I'm a level 9 martial artist. Now there's no chance at all. To get into top 20, you must be at least a half-step to inborn, or a supreme class half-step to inborn. Guess who I saw just now? Saint Chi and Saint Wen from the Sacred Sect, Dark Sect. Gosh, the number of young talents at inborn levels have almost reached 10. Based on past experience, there will be many formidable disciples from the sacred clans and sacred sects. Only Heavenly Sound Sect, Shao Clan, and Dark Sect showed up now. I think there will be another 3 to 4 Saint class forces showing up. Besides, the Saint class forces will definitely send their Saintess and Saint to the outstanding Young Heroes competition this year. Apart from those Saint class forces, the disciples of First class forces would not be weak either. They are at least a half step to pinnacle and born. The main characters for this chart this year will be those demon-like disciples and the saintesses and saints from Saint class forces. The rest can just sit back and watch the show. This year, we can only sit around and watch. Dig in. We need to get there soon. At this time, several young men walked over and placed their swords on the table while exchanging conversations with a sullen look. Disciples from insignificant sects like them were not eligible to fight with the saintesses and saints. "Let's go," said Wang Xian to Guan Shuqing and the rest after taking a look at those young men. "Shao Xian, will you be participating this time?" asked Lan Qingyue to Wang Xian. Wang Xian had recovered, but even he was unsure how strong he was now. "Nope." Wang Xian shook his head and headed to Huashan. They arrived at the entrance, where they held the outstanding Young Heroes competition. "We'll wait here for a while. Shao, you will be here soon," Guan Shuqing said as they arrived at a stone staircase at the side. It was crowded with all the martial artists from around the country. All of them were in high spirits as they marched inside. Some of the martial artists stood at the entrance, observing those young martial artists who entered. "That's him. That monk who is extremely gruesome. He lacks the benevolence of a monk. Yesterday, a first-class force provoked him, and he just annihilated them straight away. The sect leader, who was an inborn expert, was killed. This monk possessed the strength to be crowned as the champion among the younger generation." The surroundings broke out with exclamations when everyone turned to look at the monk in his robe. Wang Xian checked him out with curiosity. A fair-looking monk in his kasaya. He had no burn marks, but rather an odd-looking pattern on his head. Instead of serenity, he exhibited more of an evil vibe. The monk arched his lips as he walked in with an evil yet charming smile. "They're here. That palanquin." At this time, a vintage sedan was carried in by 4 young men. No one could see the profile of that person inside the sedan. "Haha, is that a babe in the sedan?" Just then, a harsh and manly voice was heard from behind. For young men were on the heels of that sedan. They were teasing loudly with their lips quirked as they looked over. The one in the lead was riding a lion whose fur was thick. His imposing eyes were gazing around with a vibe of a lion king that was simply unapproachable. Another 3 young men were riding leopards with 2 golden birds standing on one of their shoulders. SSS, they are the disciples from the Imperial Beast Sect, Sacred Sect. That must be the Roaring Lion, which is an inborn spiritual beast. Scary. What a surprise to see the Imperial Beast Sect this year. In the past few years, they did not send any disciples over. A sedan carried by 4 half-step to Inborns and the disciples of Sacred Sect riding inborn spiritual beasts. This is getting scarier. The crowd looked over with shock. The 4 young men who were carrying the sedan paused for a moment and headed inside without much bother. The young men from Imperial Beast Sect did not say anything as they rode the powerful inborn spiritual beasts inside. The Saintess of Heavenly Sound Sect is here. She's beautiful. She really lives up to the name of the Saintess of Heavenly Sound Sect. Not only is the Saintess of Heavenly Sound Sect pretty, but her voice is also intoxicating. I hope she can be crowned as the champion. Just then, Heavenly Sound Sect's disciples with their musical instruments at their backs walked in. The crowd was looking at them with an obsession. She advanced to Inborn Realm in such a short time. It looks like she was given a lot of resources after she was promoted to Saintess. Upon seeing the popular Tang Yinxian carrying the zither of Haozhong behind her, Wang Xian revealed a faint smile on his face. As if sensing his gaze, Tang Yinxian peered in his direction. After seeing Wang Xian, She slightly froze before she drew a smile. Wow, wow. The Saintess is smiling at me. Did you see it? Did you see it? A young man at the side was elated. Pretty. Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingyue stood on his left and right with their death stares on him. Oh, that roaring lion is really overbearing. Without a change in his expression, Wang Xian continued. You do have a strong desire to survive. Qiao clan, sacred clan, is here. See, it's another inborn. Damn it, there are more than 10 young inborn experts. Are the outstanding 5 devil dragons here? If they are here, they will add on to the number of young inborn experts. If outstanding 5 devil dragons and dragon 7 stars are here, it will be damn interesting. They'll just add up to another 12 inborn experts. I wonder where did they come from? They are just 2 imba. I heard all of them were very powerful. Everyone around chipped in their comments. They are here, disciples of Hua family medical saint sect, another inborn existence. The current clan leader of Shao clan, Shao Ran, is here too. Gosh, is he the current most talented teenager? He's so young. Shao Ran, clan leader of Shao clan, Tang Yinxian, saintess of Heavenly Sound sect, Hua Mingshan from Medical Saint sect, Shiming from Imperial Beast sect, Qiao Fuzi from Qiao clan, and Saint Qi and Saint Wen from Dark sect. The current most outstanding disciples of the 6th Saint class forces. On top of that, there was Flower Monk, a mysterious person in the sedan, the young man with the golden fan, and Hailong, the young overlord. That would make 10 of them. If they added up the supreme talents from last year and those that were still hidden, there would be more than a dozen inborn experts. Considering those new emerging people in the underworld lately, like the outstanding 5 devil dragons and dragon 7 stars, that made more than a score of inborn supreme talents battling for the championship. Chapter 436. The Champion of the Younger Generation 1. Brother. While Wang Xian was watching the saints and saintesses from various powerful forces walking in, he heard Xiaoyu calling him from his side. Let's get in too, Wang Xian said to Guan Shuqing and the girls before walking towards where Xiaoyu was. Xiaoyu followed the crowd from the Thistles and Thorns sect and waved towards Wang Xian and the girls. Let's go. It's about time. Wang Xian scrutinized Xiaoyu and Elder Fong from top to bottom. Both of them were wearing uniformly black attire which resembled trimmed armor. They also each had a black longsword in their hands. The skin-tight armor perfectly traced their figures. It was especially so for Elder Fong, who had a great figure. The black armor made her resemble the goddess of darkness. A dark, charming aura emanated naturally from her. Her curves were what every man would desire. The outfit is pretty good. Wang Xian took a few more glances before complimenting Xiaoyu. Hee, don't you think that I have the looks of a heroine now? Xiaoyu swung the bone, sword in her hand, as she joked. Since it's black, you look more like the Dongfang booby. Just watch how I'll go on a killing spree today and clinch the #1 spot on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Xiaoyu remarked proudly. Let's go. Wang Xian chuckled before walking in. The armor-like outfit was formed from their extended skeletal structure. With their armor alone, anyone under the half-step to Dan realm wouldn't be able to hurt them at all. Isn't that guy with the golden fan that mysterious young man from before? At this juncture, a young man near Wang Xian stared at him and asked. The crowd looked over and started observing Wang Xian curiously. This golden fan teenager seems to be Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. The one beside him is the saintess of the Thistles and Thorns sect, Wang Yu. She's also the sister of Miracle Dr. Wang. It has to be. He must be Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Just look at the long sword at his waist. The mysterious golden fan teenager is Miracle Dr. Wang. It's no surprise now that he could defeat Bei Wuing, who has just reached the inborn realm. He's Miracle Dr. Wang. the number 1 on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Majestic and breathtaking. If it wasn't for Xiao Ran from the Xiao clan, Miracle Dr. Wong would be the youngest inborn expert. This time, everyone's attention had fallen on Wang Xian. Brother, with the folded fan and your 5-colored divine dragon shirt, you look really flirtatious. Xiao Yu teased him. What do you know about it? Wang Xian chuckled. His white casual attire had the printing of 5-colored divine dragons. At the chest area, there were the words Dragon Sect embroidered. And Mo Qinglong had it custom made. Rumble. What's that? Inborn spiritual beasts. Oh my God. They are using 2 inborn spiritual beasts to pull the carriage. At this moment, the group heard a commotion from behind them, following which, exclaims of the crowd could be heard. Wang Xian and the group looked over and were shocked to see a carriage moving rapidly towards them. 2 golden seahorses with terrifying aura were pulling the carriage. The 2 golden seahorses were over 2 meters large, and they didn't have legs. Below the golden seahorses, there was a ball of blue seawater. The seawater pulled their bodies as they moved rapidly forward. 2 ropes were tied to their backs and were connected to a carriage. A young man sat on it with exquisite golden curtains in front of him to block the dust and sunlight. Behind the carriage, 2 middle-aged men followed closely. They had terrifying vibes around them. It's the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. He's the only son, Hailong, of the lord of Sea Serpent Island, who is widely regarded as the 2nd strongest in the country. The entrance of the young lord of Sea Serpent Island is too extravagant. 2 inborn spiritual beasts to pull his carriage, and another 2 inborn experts following behind. Even the saint and saintess of sacred clans and sacred sects couldn't hold a candle to him. He's the only son of the 2nd strongest man in the underworld. The resources he enjoys are even more than the saints of the sacred sects. If it wasn't for the sudden appearance of Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown, the number 1 spot on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart would still belong to this young lord. The crowd was discussing fervently. As their eyes fell on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island, they turned next to Wang Xian and made a comparison. What do you guys think? Between the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and Miracle Dr. Wong, who is stronger? My guess would be the young lord of Sea Serpent Island. After all, he's the only son of the 2nd strongest man in the underworld. His strength isn't something that Miracle Dr. Wong could match. Just take a look at this lineup. It's not even a fair comparison. Although Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown is powerful, there are too many supreme talents this year. I'm guessing that Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown would at most make it to the top 5. That's my guess too. I'll bet on the young lord of Sea Serpent Island to clinch the championship in a while. The surrounding crowd was enthusiastic about the event. What an ostentatious display! Xiao Yu looked towards the young lord of Sea Serpent Island and exclaimed in shock. Let's go! Wang Xian chuckled before walking in. Behind them, the young lord of Sea Serpent Island followed and entered the area. More and more people were heading in. When those who were here for a show saw the time, they also headed in the same direction. More and more people had gathered at the entrance. At this moment, 5 young men walked forward without expressions. Soon, another 7 young men walked in. In the end, other than some random people entering the place, another group of 30 young men also headed in. Wow, what a huge area! When Wang Xian and the group entered, Xiao Yu instantly exclaimed in shock. There was an incomparably huge field with a 20-meter-tall stone monument in the middle. That's the named cliff. The top 20 supreme talents would earn the rights to leave their name on it based on the rankings. Around it, there were several elevated arenas to be used for battles. At the 2 sides, there were 4 exceptionally huge service counters. The competition of the supreme talents would always attract the strongest members of the younger generation to participate. The first reason being one could become famous, and the second was the rewards. The organizer of this competition would also be receiving bets for the competition. Everyone would be able to place their bets. The organizer would give all spiritual stones, spiritual grass, and other items that were earned in the event to the supreme talents. Besides that, if the challenger were to lose in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, he'd have to pay a price. The price could be the weapon one was using or any other items. One could even get an inborn spiritual weapon here. Moreover, if one party was dead, everything that belonged to the defeated would be transferred to the victor. Because of this rule, the battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes chart were a lot more brutal. However, this was the underworld. Conflicts would never be lacking. If one had mediocre battle strength, he wouldn't become a supreme talent even if he had amazing gifts. Should we go place our bets? Xiao Yu looked around her and saw a substantial number of people gathering before the service counters. Let's go and take a look. Wang Xian smiled and walked towards the direction. When they had just entered the place, the group of young men had noticed their group. To put it more accurately, they had noticed Wang Xian. The title of the number one on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart still belonged to him. Chapter 437. The Champion of the Younger Generation 2. Young Master. That's Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown. Has Uncle Bien found the killer? Not yet, but the possibility of it being Miracle Dr. Wang's doing is quite high. Sect Master Bien has prepared to strike. Oh, really? The information that Sect Master Bien received was that young Master Bien lost contact ever since he reached Shangjing. Back then, Miracle Dr. Wang was in Shangjing too. Brother Quan was my playmate since we were young. How dare someone murder him? The killer deserves to die. Back at the center of the field stood 3 people from Medical Saint Sect, among which the young man Hua Mingshan in the middle was staring in Wang Xian's direction. Flashes of cold radiance blinked in his eyes. Miracle Dr. Wang has domineering talents, and his arts of refining elixir pills was better than young Master Bien. An old man at the side whispered to Hua Mingshan. Since he can kill Brother Quan, who is protected by the poison duo, I don't think he's that simple. He must possess a strength near pinnacle inborn. Hua Mingshan squinted his eyes slightly together as murderous intent flashed in his eyes as he stared daggers at Wang Xian. With an inborn spiritual weapon in his possession, no average inborn experts is of his match, said that old man slowly as he noticed the Zhan Lu sword at Wang Xian's waist. Bien family of Medical Saint Sect is better at refining medicines, while the Hua family is more proficient in combat. I'll take care of this Miracle Dr. Wang, so that Brother Quan can rest in peace too. Hua Mingshan said at a slow pace. Young Master, should we inform Sect Master Bien? Asked the old man with a frown. No, let's meet this guy first. Hua Mingshan lifted his chin slightly. Bien family and Hua family of Medical Saint Sect had different fortes. Bien family was better at refining medicines, while Hua family was more skilled in combat. Their most outstanding disciples of Medical Saint Sect were Bien Yaoquan and Hua Mingshan. In Medical Saint Sect, it was easy to groom an inborn expert with elixir pills. Outstanding Young Heroes chart was not the focus of Medical Saint Sects. As such, they would only send a disciple here to exhibit their prowess every few years. A disciple from Medical Saint Sect had already attended last year. Hua Mingshan had not been preparing to come this year, but he changed his mind when he found that Wang Xian was attending. Since young, Hua Mingshan had been taking all kinds of precious elixir pills, and he had advanced to inborn a few years ago. Besides, Hua family's cultivation was what attributed. With the special spiritual grass as supplements, their combat power would be extremely domineering. All Saint class forces had their own strong advantages. Young Lord, that is Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. Two powerful inborn spiritual beasts were lying at the other side of the field while the young lord of Hai Long lifted open the veil and looked at the surroundings with some slack. None of the forces dared to approach this place. All of them stood far away and looked over with awe. Not even the people from sacred sects or sacred clans dared to come near them. As the only son of the second most formidable person in the underworld, his status was even higher than that of saint. Besides, the Lord of Haijiao was a legend in his own lifetime. Even the sacred sects had to beware of him. Oh! Hai Long looked over with a faint smile on his face. The competition this year is far more interesting than before. So many people are here, which makes the game even more exciting. Saint Qi and Saint Wen of Dark Sect were standing alongside Sun Longxian, having conversations as they cast their attention in Wang Xian's direction. Some of the disciples from the sacred clan also looked over with curiosity. Xiao Ran was standing in the center among Xiao clan's people. He was beaming as he looked at his master with a sense of pride surfacing on his face. If my master participates in this ranking, no one will be his match. He'll be a bully if he does. Several elders around him immediately flattered him, but what they said was from the bottom of their hearts too. Even Lao Tzu also remarked on the domineering prowess of Miracle Dr. Wang for coaching a 15-year-old inborn expert. Naturally, he was of the same realm as Lao Tzu. For such an expert to attend the outstanding young heroes competition, that would be abuse. This time, I'll strive to get a good ranking so that I'll not bring shame to my master. Xiao Ran chuckled as his youthful appearance was filled with fighting spirit. All the eyes of the elders in Xiao family were filled with admiration and impressiveness as they looked at the young clan leader. Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown. Just when Wang Xian and Xiao Yu were standing at the front desk, checking the odds for all the supreme talents, they heard a cold voice. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows as he spun around. The familiar outfit with a huge saint on it indicated the difference in their level of forces. Medical Saint Sect. Wang Xian looked at the young man who was staring at him. He cast his sight to the side, and there was an old man and a middle-aged man too. "What's up?" "Nothing much. I just wanted to meet you and check with you about something." Hua Mingshan squinted his eyes a little. "Have you seen my brother Bian Yaoquan?" "Her? Your brother is missing, and you're looking for him at my side?" Wang Xian threw Hua Mingshan a taunting look. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and noticed many people turning their attention in their direction. "You know what I'm saying, don't you?" Hua Mingshan glowered at Wang Xian with a cold look. In his hand, he was holding on to an emerald twig that looked like some jewelry. "What's going on? Why did Hua Mingshan of Medical Saint Sect look for Miracle Dr. Wang? Are they going to spar? The competition has not even started yet. Do they have some conflicts?" Through their conversations, it seems like another disciple of Medical Saint Sect was involved. The crowd over at the front desk was caught by surprise when they overheard their conversations. Generally, the battle between a saint and a supreme talent happened in the arena. Why did Hua Mingshan look for Miracle Dr. Wang? "I have seen 3 people from Medical Saint Sect. One young man who was tired of living, and another 2 old men. I'm not sure if you're referring to that person." Wang Xian arched his lips slightly as he replied to Hua Mingshan plainly. "Tired of living." Hua Mingshan slowly turned the branch in his hand with killing intent flashing in his eyes. "Looks like the death of Bian Yaoquan of Medical Saint Sect really has got something to do with you." "Haha," Wang Xian chuckled. "If you're talking about that fellow who is tired of living, just say it. It's not a big deal anyway. He's dead." He beamed as he spat out the words with a casual face. Hua Mingshan was stunned, and so were the surrounding people. Apparently, they were caught off guard when Wang Xian announced the death so easily. Hua Mingshan of Medical Saint Sect was clearly questioning Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown about whether he had killed another disciple. With no clear evidence, no one would own up to offending a sacred sect under the circumstance. Yet, Miracle Dr. Wong admitted it straight away by saying that the person was dead. In other words, it was clear that he had killed that person. Everyone found it unbelievable. All of them felt that this Miracle Dr. Wong was rather too full of himself. Why, do you want me to send the body to you? Wang Xian threw him a disdainful look. Bien Yaoquan from the Medical Saint sect attempted to ambush me previously. It was only natural that I send him to hell. Chapter 438. The Champion of the Younger Generation 3. Bien Yaoquan from the Medical Saint sect attempted to ambush me previously. It's only natural that I send him to hell. Wang Xian's voice reverberated across the crowd. He was completely casual in tone when he said it. However, a lot of people felt their hearts skip a beat because of what he said, as they were clearly dumbfounded. Miracle Dr. Wong admitted to killing the disciple of the Medical Saint sect. Is this confidence or arrogance? No matter what, he's too darn cool. He killed the disciple of the Medical Saint sect just because he tried to ambush him. Moreover, he admitted to it without any fear. The surrounding crowd was astonished as their eyes widened and stared at Wang Xian. At the same time, they couldn't help but exclaim at the thought of the incident. A short distance away, several young men and the disciples of various sacred sects raised an eyebrow. They hesitated for a moment before walking over. This was a huge incident. Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown had admitted to killing a disciple from the Medical Saint sect. Great. I had not expected our brother from the Medical Saint sect to be really killed by you. When Hua Mingshan heard Wang Xian, his face immediately sank as he stared at Wang Xian, brimming with killing intent. Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown, you are the first person to ever dare to kill the disciple of our Medical Saint sect. You are also the one that is most deserving of death. The old and middle-aged men beside Hua Mingshan also squinted their eyes, which were beaming with killing intent. They had not expected Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown to admit to killing the disciple of Medical Saint sect so casually. His casual tone was a clear insult to their Medical Saint sect. If you wish to kill me, you'd better be prepared to be killed. Do you think I wouldn't dare to make a move just because you guys are from a sacred sect? Wang Xian looked at Hua Mingshan with ridicule as he continued. Since he dared to offend me, he better be prepared to die. The elders of the Sacred Followers Guild were one example. Your Medical Saint sect won't be an exception. Damn, how dominant is he? So what if they are sacred sects? I have long heard that Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown is exceptionally arrogant, and today I have finally witnessed it with my own eyes. He's my idol. To be daring enough to admit he killed a disciple of the Medical Saint sect, it's clear that he's making the Medical Saint sect his enemy. Now, I'm really curious why the incident with the Sacred Followers Guild ended without a clear explanation. It feels like Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown is going to get himself killed after offending sacred sect after sacred sect. The Medical Saint sect isn't like the Sacred Followers Guild. The Medical Saint sect adopted a family-style format. The Medical Saint sect would never just let it go like the Sacred Followers Guild after he killed a disciple of the Bien family. Sigh, I hope Miracle Dr. Wong has the strength to back his words. It's a natural thing to do since the disciple of the Medical Saint sect wanted to kill him first. However, when the crowd heard Wang Xian, they exclaimed in astonishment. No one dared to say the same things Wang Xian had. If the disciples of a sacred sect offended you, you could either tolerate it or assassinate them without being discovered by the sacred sect. Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown was definitely the first one to admit his actions so openly. How incredible. It's no surprise you are ranked top on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart. Just considering your guts, no one would be a match. The only uncertainty is whether you will be finished off by the Medical Saint sect subsequently. At this moment, a coarse voice sounded from the side. The crowd immediately looked over and realized it was Shi Ming from the Imperial Beast sect. He seemed to have a little admiration for Wang Xian after the incident. TSK, he's simply courting his own death. For a person to go against a sacred sect, he must be tired of living. At the other end, Qiao Fuzi from the Qiao clan stared at Wang Xian with disdain as he remarked coldly. The crowd followed the voice and looked over once again. They saw Qiao Fuzi from the Qiao clan crossing his arms before his chest with disdain beaming in his eyes. So what if he was to go against a sacred sect? I wouldn't offend others if they didn't offend me. If the disciple of a sacred sect is courting death, he deserves his death. There's no way one should endure the humiliation. Xiao Ran from the Xiao clan had just arrived when he heard Qiao Fuzi. He replied plainly as he stared coldly at him. Huh. Qiao Fuzi felt a little insulted as he turned and glowered at Xiao Ran. His eyes beamed as he commented, "A disciple of a sacred clan dares to make such claims. A guy who becomes arrogant by relying on his family or sect will just be trash at the end of the day." Xiao Ran replied plainly to Qiao Fuzi, "SSS fuck. These words are too domineering. A person who becomes arrogant because of his background will just be trash. Damn." This quote from the demon-like talent from Xiao clan is just darned passionate. It's no surprise he's a demon-like talent that has reached the inborn realm at the age of 15. For him to be able to say such words and have such a mentality, we aren't a match for him. Strength rules in the underworld. People might be fearful because you are a disciple of a sacred sect, but they would never respect you. Only true experts can command respect. He's indeed deserving of the title of the youngest inborn expert in history. The surrounding crowd looked towards Xiao Ran with shock and admiration. There were few people who could say those words. Moreover, he was a disciple of a sacred clan. One could say that there wouldn't be a second person like him. It's no surprise he could become an inborn expert at such a young age. Other than the resources he also has the right mentality and attitude. You! Qiao Fuzi glowered at Xiao Ran as his expression changed drastically. They were both disciples of sacred clans, but Xiao Ran's noble words had completely embarrassed him. At this moment, you should be saying you will wait for our contest in the Outstanding Young Heroes competition and speak with your strength. I will agree to your request. Looking at Qiao Fuzi, who had turned furious from embarrassment, Xiao Ran commented plainly, "LOL, how domineering. I can now understand why the Laozu of Xiao clan has designated him to be the clan leader. He's simply too cool. He's my idol from now onwards. To speak with strength and not be arrogant because of his background. Haha. Wow, this little brother is so handsome. I'll wait for you to grow up and I'll marry you. With your looks, don't even bother thinking of marrying the young clan leader of a sacred clan. He's a 15-year-old inborn expert and could very well reach a higher realm when given time. All I wanted to ask is if the young clan leader is all right with guys? If he's only interested in girls, it's fine too. I can go to Thailand." The surrounding crowd erupted into a raucous discussion from what Xiao Ran said. This was the demeanor that a supreme talent should possess. Great, great. Just you wait. I'm going to let you kneel before me when the time comes." Qiao Fuzi's was flushed as he stared harshly at Xiao Ran. His expression had also turned hideous. Judging from what had transpired, this disciple of Qiao clan is a far cry from the young clan leader of the Xiao clan in the aspects of both mentality and demeanor of an expert. It would seem Xiao clan has a true supreme talent. This guy will definitely not be ordinary in the future. Around them, the elders of the saint and saintess were looking at Xiao Ran in awe. Several elders of the Xiao clan who were standing beside Xiao Ran were extremely proud. This was their young clan leader, and his actions had been exceptionally dominant. At the side, there were also several disciples from sacred sects and clans who looked at this overly young, inborn expert with surprise and astonishment. Tang Yinxian smiled faintly as she looked to Xiao Ran. turned to Hua Mingshan from the medical saint sect, and eventually turned to Wang Xian. He's still as domineering as before. Recalling how this young man had annihilated the entire dark conjurers because of 2 disciples and killed the saint and saintess of her heavenly sound sect, she could feel her heart thumping violently. In this generation of youths, who could be a match for him? Great! How domineering! Let me tell you this. No matter who you are, and no matter what your reasons, you will die for killing the disciple of our medical saint sect. Chapter 439. The Champion of the Younger Generation 4. Great! How domineering! Let me tell you this. No matter who you are and whatever reasons you have, you will die for killing the disciple of our medical saint sect. Hua Mingshan's exasperated voice resounded as he stood there, watching Wang Xian with a pair of murderous eyes. Everyone was taken aback, and at the same time they were impressed. Miracle Dr. Wang was impressive, and he had guts. But even so, the medical saint sect would not let him off. Medical saint sect was a dominant sacred sect that had a long history. Such an existence, with a deep foundation, was definitely daunting. Besides, they had powerful alchemists who could cultivate experts that were beyond any imagination. You will die. Hua Mingshan glowered at Wang Xian as he spat out the words. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows with a faint smile on his face. Behind him, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan exhibited a frosty look as they came forward, fixing their deadly eyes on the old man and the middle-aged man beside Hua Mingshan. In this case, we shall see. Wang Xian grinned at Hua Mingshan. Boom! Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan released their aura instantly as they locked their domineering vibe on the old man and the middle-aged man. Brother, let me protect you. I'll handle this fellow, said Xiao Yu to Wang Xian with a smile. A tinge of coldness flashed in her eyes when she noticed Hua Mingshan staring at Wang Xian with killing intent. At present, she already possessed a strong power, which allowed her to resolve some matters for her elder brother. She was no longer the younger sister who needed protection from her brother. As Xiao Yu spoke, she stepped forward with the bone sword in her hand, giving off a faint demonic aura. She fixed her deadly eyes on Hua Mingshan. The crowd froze as everyone was shocked. They struck. The few people beside Miracle Dr. Wang struck instantly. Damn, what is this going on? Are they trying to exterminate the people from Medical Saint sect? They are going to fight. It's an obvious life or death battle. Impressive. Hua Mingshan has been rattling away for such a long time without making any moves. As a result, Miracle Dr. Wang of Rivertown is going to strike. They're completely in the bad books of Medical Saint sect. When the crowd saw Xiao Yu, Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan, they were appalled. Sure. Wang Xian nodded in reply to Xiao Yu as he looked at Hua Mingshan with a sneer on his face. Since they are enemies, just kill them off. What's the point of talking so much? Fine. Hua Mingshan had mixed expression as he clenched his fist while glaring at Wang Xian. He swept his gaze slowly toward Xiao Yu. Today we'll slaughter all of you. Initially, he had wanted to kill Miracle Dr. Wang off at the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, but he did not expect the other party to be so arrogant. You talk too much. Xiao Yu scoffed as she moved, lunging at Hua Mingshan. Humph. Mo Qinglong and Mo Yuan scorned and made a swift movement towards the old man and the middle-aged man beside Hua Mingshan. The domineering vibe struck fear into everyone around them, who quickly receded. Who's that young lady? She looks so young. How did she explode such daunting power? That's Miracle Dr. Wang's younger sister. It's a surprise that she has also advanced to the inborn realm. Another demon-like talent. Damn, why are there so many young inborns now? Everyone was appalled by the vibe exhibited by Xiao Yu. All of them staggered back. Upon seeing Xiao Yu assaulting him, Hua Mingshan revealed a bloodthirsty and malevolent look. He swung his arm and stuck the emerald twig on the floor. Ka ka ka! With a single move of his arm, the twig penetrated the hard and durable ground, rooted and multiplied. Soon, a 2-meter weird tree grew up, bearing twigs with sharp thorns that looked extremely prickly. This is the combat style of Hua family medical saint sect. The art of cultivation they practiced is of wood attributes. If they were in the woods, their strength would be more powerful. This kind of cultivation has a weak combat power at the preliminary stage, but when they advance to the inborn realm, they are able to control the plants around them, which makes them a difficult opponent. This twig must come from a spiritual tree that can be used for controlling combat. The crowd erupted into discussions when they witnessed Hua Mingshan's way of attacking. While not many people had seen how the Hua family struck, they had mostly heard about it. Even the people from other saint class forces were curious to find out. After all, medical saint sect was considered a semi-secluded sacred sect, which was rarely involved in any combat. "I'll slaughter you first, then the other fellow who is tired of living." Hua Mingshan stood before the spiritual tree as he glared at Xiaoyu with an icy face. With a swing, he injected green energy into the spiritual tree. He raised his arm and brought it down, sending twigs with sharp thorns toward Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu hesitated when she saw the twigs attack. She wielded her bone sword at it straight away. "Oh, ignorance!" Upon seeing her move, Hua Mingshan's eyes were filled with contempt. How could any weapon counter the spiritual scale tree? Not only could weapons not counter the twigs, but the twig could also wrap itself around weapons. Hua Mingshan raised his arm, bringing about dozens of sharp twigs dancing in the air. They darted out toward Xiaoyu, just like flexible snakes. "Humph!" Xiaoyu snorted as the bone sword gave off black radiance with an edge, slashing all the twigs. Bang, bang, bang. What? How is this possible? When the bone sword and the twigs collided, the twigs of spiritual scale tree broke off easily. Disbelief filled Hua Mingshan's face as he was astounded. "Humph, it only has the looks." Upon seeing the frail twigs, Xiaoyu was full of disdain. Moving in a quick stance, she lunged with her sword at Hua Mingshan. "No, it can't be. This is impossible." Hua Mingshan could not believe this. The stem of spiritual scale tree stretched forward from behind as the 2-meter sharp thorn extended toward Xiaoyu. "Counter, point slay." Xiaoyu maintained a consistent look while shaking an afterimage out from the bone sword. Bang, bang, bang. All the twigs from spiritual scale tree broke off easily and fell to the ground. This Hua Mingshan is so weak. Thrashing, that's so weak. I don't feel that he's as strong as a half-step to inborn. Yes, I agree. Medical Saint Sect is well known for their medical skills and art of refining. For their combat skills, they feel so weak. He's inadequate, and yet he actually declared that he wants to kill other people. Isn't this digging his own grave? Everyone was stunned and slightly at a loss of words when they witnessed how easily Xiaoyu defeated Hua Mingshan. From what they saw, the battle between Xiaoyu and Hua Mingshan was simple. Her sword cut the twigs easily, and it was a done deal. This Hua Mingshan was a noob. Arg. At this time, there were 2 devastating cries from the side. The old man and middle-aged man from Medical Saint Sect had fallen to the ground with eyes full of desperation. Chapter 440. The Champion of the Younger Generation. Rumble. Arg. A dull impact noise and 2 pitiful cries reverberated throughout the competition field of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition. The entire crowd had turned towards the source of the noises, and everyone was shocked to see the old and middle-aged men from the Medical Saint Sect on the floor. Those 2 middle-aged men with Miracle Dr. Wang are really strong. Really, really strong. The old and middle-aged men from the Medical Saint Sect were completely overwhelmed. Those 2 middle-aged men that are emitting devilish aura are at least pinnacle inborn experts. They might very well be even stronger. Is it my misconception? Why do I feel that the people from the medical saint sect are really weak? They were completely crushed. The surrounding crowd were stunned and were discussing softly among themselves when they saw the old and middle-aged men being killed on the spot. What? How dare you kill the people from our medical saint sect? At this moment, Hua Mingshan was furious upon hearing the cries. Fear flashed in his eyes as he growled softly. Hearing Hua Mingshan, the surrounding crowd found him hilarious. It didn't matter if Miracle Dr. Wang from Rivertown was arrogant or simply courting his demise. Now that he had struck, he would be going after your life next. Saying those words at this point was hilarious. The people from sacred sects have been arrogant for too long to the point that they believe no one dares to kill them, a young man mumbled to himself as his eyes fixed on Hua Mingshan. The surrounding disciples of the sacred sects were taken aback as they witnessed the disciples of the medical saint sect being slaughtered before their eyes. They looked to Wang Xian, raised an eyebrow, and sank into thought. Don't you find it hilarious to say such words now? Xiao Yu looked coldly at Hua Mingshan as she waved the long sword in her hand towards Hua Mingshan. You, our medical saint sect, won't let you off. Not a single one of you is getting away. Just wait for the endless revenge from our medical saint sect. Hua Mingshan screeched wretchedly. Cold sweat had filled his forehead. Seeing the impossibly sharp-boned sword, he gritted his teeth. Swish, swish, swish. The branches of the spiritual scale tree wiggled rapidly and weaved together to become an exceptionally huge wooden spear. Is that all you got? Seeing the changes to the spiritual scale tree, contempt gleamed in Xiao Yu's eyes as she threw herself forward with the bone sword. The spiritual scale tree was just like a poisonous snake with sharp thorns. It grew to over 5 meters long and struck toward Xiao Yu. Kill! Shouted Xiao Yu. The bone sword in her hand emitted a black glow that extended to over 1 meter long. The black glow had turned the bone sword into a giant blade that slashed against the spiritual scale tree. Ka-ka-ka! Sounds of the spiritual scale tree cracking reverberated while the bone sword slashed toward Hua Mingshan as though there was nothing in its way. No, Hua Mingshan was desperate. He dodged, turned around, and fled immediately. Running? It's a little too late for that. Seeing Hua Mingshan running away, ruthlessness gleamed in the eyes of Mo Yuan. He moved and caught up with Hua Mingshan instantly. Bam! A terrifying devil claw gripped onto his back instantly. The next moment, it pierced through his body. Cough, cough! Hua Mingshan's body stiffened, and he was spitting out a mouthful of blood. He turned around and looked towards the direction where Wang Xian was with disbelief. Our medical saint sect will never, never let you off. Bam! Hua Mingshan fell to the ground and vitality deserted him. When the crowd saw Hua Mingshan being killed before them, they felt a chill run down their spines. Thinking back, Hua Mingshan was still basking in the limelight a while ago. He arrived here as the disciple of the medical saint sect, and one would regard him as a distinguished guest. When he was here, he was looking down on everyone around him. It was also because of his connection with the medical saint sect that he was brazen and felt that no one dared to offend him. This eventually led to his death. He's indeed savage and brutal. How lucky are we? Fortunately, Saint Qi and Saint Wen, who were standing beside Sun Longxian a short distance away, swallowed their saliva. They could feel cold sweat over their foreheads. Fortunately, he had not offended Miracle Dr. Wang completely the previous time. Otherwise, even his identity of being the son of the richest man in the southern province would mean nothing. He's really fearless. Saint Qi and Saint Wen exchanged glances and heaved a sigh of relief. However, this type of person often dies young. No matter how great his talents are, it will just be a matter of time until he is killed because of his arrogance. A short distance away, Qiao Fuzi snorted. He looked at Wang Xian and contempt flashed in his eyes. Those who are insanely gifted often die prematurely. Considering his personality, Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown won't live past a few years. He's too fearless. The underworld has its rules, and a sacred sect is a sacred sect after all. Considering his style of actions, he won't survive for long. Unless he can run to a faraway place, otherwise the medical saint sect will definitely finish him off. Even if that means deploying all the strength of the medical saint sect, they won't let him off. He was blinded by anger. In my opinion, Miracle Dr. Wong is too foolish to offend a sacred sect completely. The consequences won't be that simple. Perhaps he felt he could be fearless and disregard all rules after living well subsequent to slaughtering the elders of the Sacred Followers Guild. Seeing Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown ordering his men to kill the 3 people from the medical saint sect, the surrounding crowd was stunned. At the same time, they felt that Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown was fearless. It was especially so for the disciples from strong backgrounds. When they witnessed the development, they snorted. The current Miracle Doctor, Wong, did look incredible when he ordered his guys to kill the disciples of a sacred sect in the public. However, they knew clearly the consequences he had to bear after the moment of glory. This is interesting. This is interesting. Flower Monk looked at Wang Xian and squinted his eyes. The battles of the Outstanding Young Heroes competition aren't contests of one's background. They are contests of strength. That's right. The titles of saint or saintess mean nothing here. The champion of the younger generation isn't something you can obtain by relying on your background. A bewitching young man stared at the crowd before turning his attention to Sherming from Imperial Beast Sect and revealing a cunning smirk. He was that demon-like young man in the carriage. That's right. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart is all about one's personal strength. In a while, I'd like to seek guidance from everyone here. At this juncture, the crisp voice of a lady resonated. The crowd turned around and saw a young girl in the traditional attire of a minority group. She had over 10 medal rings around her neck and was flicking her hair flirtatiously. "Let's meet again in the arena," a young man commented plainly before turning around and heading in another direction. The atmosphere of a battle was starting to form. Outstanding young disciples from all over the world lifted their heads proudly while looking at their competitors. They were all confident in what they were capable of. Having reached the inborn realm at a young age, they were all favored by gods and fully confident in themselves. Even when facing other insanely gifted talents, they didn't feel that they would lose. They strongly believed they were the champions of the younger generation. Chapter 441 Sacred Sect Dragon Sect 1 Young Lord, the 2 middle-aged men behind Miracle Doctor Wong possess formidable strength. One of them should have advanced to half-step to Dan Realm. Oh, really? That Miracle Dr. Wong is really one of a kind to have such forces at such an age. Back at the center of the competition field, the young lord swept his gaze across the 3 bodies on the floor and beamed. He's not bad, but I'm afraid it's going to be over for him after he offended the medical saint sect. Unless he goes into hiding, he'll be doomed. Not everyone could possess invincible strength like our Lord. The 2 middle-aged men were evaluating everything plainly as they remained unwavering when Wang Xian's gang killed the 3 disciples of the sacred sect. You're right. Not everyone possesses the strength of my father. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island revealed a prideful look as his father was the goal in his life. Hai Jiao, a well-known figure in the underworld who was awe-inspiring. He possessed a reputation that was similar to that of a sacred sect. Not many people knew that his father had annihilated a saint-class force overseas. He was unrivaled and was one of the best in the entire Asian Sea region. Besides, he knew that his father had far more power than anyone could imagine. Which force does the girl from Yaojiang, Flower Monk, and that fair-looking young man come from? Asked the young lord of Sea Serpent Island as he stepped off from the carriage and looked around the field. If I'm not mistaken, the flower monk should be from Devil Spirit's temple, and that young man is from Devil Corpse Palace. A middle-aged man speculated with a stern look. Devil Spirit's temple and Devil Corpse Palace. The young lord was slightly stunned as he narrowed his pupils. Two from the diabolism? Is the diabolism emerging? No idea. But if they do, the underworld will be in chaos again, the middle-aged man said with a sunken expression as he recalled. The so-called diabolism was not talking about practicing arts of cultivation that were of devil attributes. It was also not referring to those eccentric and unreasonable people who went around killing the innocents. The true demons controlled corpses, turned humans into puppets, sucked the blood essence of others. They inflicted harm on other people just to enhance their cultivation. This bunch of people and their practice was known by the underworld as diabolism, as what they practiced was evil. The diabolism was once being annihilated by saint class forces led by Donghua sacred sect and the other powerful ancestral sections, whereas Nya Wushuang, the sect leader of Donghua sacred sect, was known to be the #1 strongest expert in the underworld during this annihilation. Since then, diabolism went into seclusion and they had not made an appearance for the past 50 years. Devil Spirit's temple enhanced their cultivation by condensing bloodlust to extract blood essences from humans and other living beings. Subsequently, they will refine and feed on it. Devil Corpse Palace will refine themselves or other people into corpses. The cultivation arts of these two sects are extremely gruesome. Since they are here to participate in the outstanding young heroes chart, I guess diabolism is going to be active again. The young lord displayed the trace of a smile on his face. Looks like the opponents that are in my way to attaining the role of champion of the outstanding young heroes chart will be these two fellows. Given your strength of pinnacle inborn, coupled with a few inborn spiritual weapons. So what if they are from diabolism? Still, they had to go into hiding to survive 50 years ago. The middle-aged man giggled as he flattered the young lord. Haha, even so, we cannot underestimate them. Let's go. The young lord put on a confident look and strode towards the arena. The crew from the organizer was standing at the stage. All the surrounding disciples were moving towards the stage as well. Disciples of various ancestral sects divided themselves clearly on one side. There were 5 arenas in the field, which could hold 5 competitions at one time. Wang Xian, Xiao Yu, and the rest headed for the biggest arena at the center. The remaining disciples of sacred sects were also going for the same arena. It's going to start soon. Gosh, I just made a count secretly. There were more than a dozen supreme talents of inborn level. More than a dozen. That's 4 to 5 times more than in the past. There's no chance for us. But we didn't make a wasteful trip since we can watch those outstanding supreme talents fighting among themselves. Those experts below the inborn levels are going to be awkward. They can only be ranked after the 10th. The ones who came are getting more impressive. The young disciples sized up all the mighty supreme talents from the side as they exchanged views in whispers. When Wang Xian and gang came to the arena, Xiao Ran and his clan members were already standing below the stage. Xiao Ran gave him a hearty smile. Long time no see, Miracle Dr. Wang. Just then, a voice that was music to the ears was heard from the side. Wang Xian spun around and saw Tang Yinxian. With a smile, he said, Miss Tang, how are? As he greeted her, he could feel the muscles at his waist convulsing. He drew his lips and looked towards Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingwei beside him. Haha, Miracle Dr. Wang is getting more and more suave. When Tang Yinxian spotted Guan Shuqing and Lan Qingwei by the side, there was an inexplicable look in her eyes. Her voice turned slightly cold. Cough. Wang Xian gave an awkward smile and kept his silence. Several elders beside Tang Yinxian were puzzled as they looked at her. Then they whispered a few words to her. The outstanding young heroes chart ranks you by your strength. I'm sure everyone is clear about the rules. Anyone can come to the arena. The top 20 people are able to leave their names at the cliff for people to pay tribute to. It's life and death in the arena. At this time, the organizer began to speak from the arena. It was a brief introduction and everyone knew about it. Without strength that is above half step to inborn, they can forget about going to the arena. It's going to be interesting for this year's ranking. A faint voice was heard. Everyone looked over and saw a middle-aged man wearing an outfit with an island on it. All of them revealed a look of awe on their faces. Young Lord of Sea Serpent Island. He drew his lips and swept his gaze across all the young people. With a beam he said, 20. The 20 of us shall take the seats. What? Whatever the young Lord of Sea Serpent Island said surprised everyone. 20? Are there 20 inborn supreme talents here? I don't think so. Miracle Dr. Wong and his sister, young Lord of Sea Serpent Island, Xiao Ran from Xiao Clan, Qiao Fuzi from Qiao Clan, Tang Yin from Heavenly Sound Sect, Saint Chi, and Saint Wen from Dark Sect, Flower Monk, and the mysterious young man in the sedan. Including the current 3 inborn experts on the chart, there are only 13. That girl with steel rings around her neck should be an inborn expert. That makes it 14. Another 6 more people? Gosh, half step to inborn experts are unable to make it on the Outstanding Young Heroes chart this year. All of them looked around. In the past, even level 9 martial artists were eligible to participate. With the numbers of inborns around, they could not stand a chance. Chapter 442. Sacred Sect, Dragon Sect 2. Weaklings can just stay off or be killed. While the surrounding crowd was looking around them curiously, the motionless voice of a young man resonated. 20 supreme talents. It's only interesting this way, said another young man. My initial aim was to just have some fun here. However, after seeing so many supreme talents, let me have some real fun. The Outstanding Young Heroes chart in previous years has been inflated. This year is really interesting. For this year, I'll declare myself as the champion then. The voice of 2 other young men reverberated. Every single one of them was hugely confident in themselves as they spoke. They remained exceptionally confident in themselves despite facing the saints of sacred sects and clans, knowing the battle records of Miracle Dr. Wong from Rivertown, and having the young master of Sea Serpent Island around. This was a form of confidence that only the strong experts possessed. Gosh, there are 6 more inborn experts hidden within the crowd. Oh my God, the Outstanding Young Heroes chart only ranks the top 20. Those who haven't reached the inborn realm can forget about it. Don't embarrass yourself by participating. The contest would be interesting. Haha. Regardless, I'm not qualified. The surrounding crowd was shocked by the young men who spoke. Every single one of them was emanating strong confidence. At this juncture, all the supreme talents weren't hiding anymore and stood at the front. Some had their arms crossed, while others held long swords in their hands. Some had their hands behind their back, lifting their heads slightly and displaying the demeanor of an expert. The surrounding crowd of thousands of people looked at the 20 people in awe and respect. As for those half-step to inborn experts who were still looking to showcase their abilities on the Outstanding Young Heroes competition, they were feeling extremely bitter. The competition this year was simply too insane. The last few inborn supreme talents that stood out were all disciples from powerful first-class forces. All the weapons in their hands look extraordinary. Those that could become inborn experts at this age are undoubtedly outstanding disciples who are the focus of nurturing in their sections. Their weapons and hidden trump cards are definitely terrifying. The surrounding crowd discussed fervently. Let's get it started. Xiao Ran looked across the dozen-odd inborn experts and showed a faint smile. Since I'm the youngest, let me choose my opponent first. Qiao Fuzi from Qiao Clan, step forward. As Xiao Ran spoke, he got moving and flew to the middle of the arena directly. His eyes were fixed on Qiao Fuzi. Dumbass, today I'll put you who don't know what's best for you on the ground. Xiao Fuzi's expression turned chilling. He leapt into the air and landed before Xiao Ran while staring harshly at him. "I'll be taking your sword." Xiao Ran said plainly while staring at the long sword with savage beast engravings in Xiao Fuzi's hand. "Haha, I'll slice you down with it." Xiao Fuzi broke into hysterical laughter. "Dang!" The sounds of a treasured sword leaving the scabbard shocked the surrounding martial artists who were carrying long swords. "The name of this sword is Despondent Sword. I have defeated 3 inborn experts with it. You shall be the 4th. Xiao Fuzi pointed his despondent sword proudly at Xiao Ran. "Xings. The name of my sword is Ancient Spiritual Sword. I have killed more than 3 inborn experts with it." Xiao Ran drew his ancient spiritual sword directly and met the cold gaze of Xiao Fuzi. "SSS. Inborn spiritual weapons. 2 inborn spiritual weapons. Phut! The people from the sacred clans are darned loaded. An inborn spiritual weapon could increase one's battle strength substantially. Since both of them have inborn spiritual weapons, the outcome of the contest will be dependent on their individual strength. Who do you think will win?" Xiao Fuzi is 30 years old this year, and his battle experiences are definitely richer than Xiao Ran. Although Xiao Ran is the youngest inborn expert in the underworld, his youth is also a weakness. He's lacking in experience. A demon-like talent like him couldn't be assessed using common sense. Let's just watch. Place your bets. Place your bets. You can place your bets on the Underworld website. Pa! Just as the crowd was discussing fervently, Xiao Ran and Xiao Fuzi clashed. As the inborn spiritual weapons clashed, sounds of metal clashing reverberated through the skies. Everyone was astonished and watched the battle in the arena attentively. "Haha, damn brat. What gives you the guts to be so arrogant with your level of strength?" After the first collision, Xiao Ran was knocked several steps back. Xiao Fuzi laughed loudly and brazenly as he stared at Xiao Ran with contempt. "TSK." Xiao Ran snorted but remained unmoved. He executed his phantom sword technique, which was exceptionally frightening. Xiao Fuzi focused his attention, wiggled his arms, and strengthened the golden glow on his despondent sword. Golden Ray Embodiment. As he shouted, he turned completely golden and was charging ahead with his sword. Around the despondent sword, golden long swords that were formed from metal attribute energy appeared suddenly. Over 10 golden long swords emitted dazzling rays. That's Qiao Clan's Golden Ray embodiment. The Qiao Clan is known for their Golden Ray blades. They are extremely deadly and incomparably domineering. The surrounding crowd was shocked to see Xiao Fuzi emitting golden rays. Xiao Fuzi, together with his inborn spiritual weapon, could match those experienced inborn experts in battle. It will be hard for Xiao Ran to clinch the victory. What a shame! The crowd around the arena was analyzing the battle as it progressed. Several members of the Qiao clan revealed satisfying expressions and looked mockingly in the direction of the Xiao clan. However, a few elders from the Xiao clan were smirking. This was just the beginning. Golden Ray embodiment. Looking at the blinding golden rays, Xiao Ran squinted his eyes and flexed his body. Boom! A chilling yet scorching blue flame was emitted from his body, creepily. The flames covered the ancient spiritual sword and Xiao Ran, turning him into a man burning in blue flames. Have a taste of my tranquil blue heavenly flame. Xiao Ran swung his long sword and creepy blue flowers emerged around him. This move is called Tranquil Blue Flowers. Xiao Ran charged ahead without fear. Heavenly flame. Oh gosh, it's a heavenly flame. SSS. He got a heavenly flame. In the entire underworld, there are probably only 2 to 3 people who possess a heavenly flame. Moreover, every single one of them is exceptionally powerful. Several members of the Qiao clan were taken aback as their expressions turned gloomier. What? Xiao Fuzi was also shocked to see Xiao Ran shrouded in blue flames. Whoa! At this instant, the swaying, tranquil blue flowers clashed heavily with the golden ray blades and resulted in frightening explosions. As the blue flame contacted the golden blades dissipated one after another. Bam! The ancient spiritual sword slashed downward and blue sparks sputtered. Xiao Fuzi was flabbergasted as he saw the flames land on him. This is bad. His golden body was easily penetrated by the tranquil blue, heavenly flame, and the terrifying temperature sent chills down his spine. Rumble. Xiao Fuzi gathered the golden rays towards his chest as he retreated rapidly. The golden rays withstood the attack for a moment before falling onto the floor of the arena. Papa! 2 1-meter-deep holes appeared instantly. What an incredible heavenly flame! The arena was forged using the toughest stone from Huashan, yet the heavenly flame was able to burn out such terrifying holes. The crowd's eyes contracted unconsciously as they witnessed the deep holes on the ground of the arena. Even the inborn experts frowned upon witnessing the strength of the heavenly flame. Xiao Fuzi's face was covered in cold sweat as he stared at the potholes caused by that blue heavenly flame. He was exceptionally impressed and frightened. Aren't you going to admit your defeat? If the tranquil blue heavenly flame landed on your body, you wouldn't be able to withstand it. Chapter 443 Sacred Sect Dragon Sect 3 Aren't you going to admit your defeat? If the tranquil blue heavenly flame landed on your body, you wouldn't be able to withstand it. Xiao Ran drew his lips with a cold smile as he stared at Xiao Fuzi. Xiao Fuzi had a huge change in his expression. His body trembled while the palm that was gripping the despondent sword grew pale. An elder below said with a gloomy face, "We lost. Fuzi." "Fine." Xiao Fuzi gritted his teeth as he inserted his sword back into the scabbard with an awful look. He threw a death stare before he hurled the sword to Xiao Ran. "Thank you." Xiao Ran took over the despondent sword with thrills. Inborn spiritual weapons were precious treasures, even in the sacred clans. The inborn spiritual weapon coupled with the heavenly flame has pushed the strength of Xiao Ran close to a pinnacle inborn. That's the suppression of equipment, just like a cannon matched against a gun. Weapons are just part of the strength, so is luck. We've got to admit that. Some of the surrounding crowd remarked with envy. The world is unfair. Some people are born to be at the peak, but some people will never reach the summit. Looks like there are many experts today. Just when a soft voice cut the air, an ominous and pale-looking young man stalked to the front with a smiling face. The grin was somewhat creepy and cold, which struck an uneasiness into everyone. He was holding on to a gray umbrella with pictures painted on it. Those were extremely spooky corpses in coffins. Who is that mysterious young man going to challenge? He was sitting in an ancient sedan carried by 4 half-step to inborn experts. He is a mystery. I wonder which force he came from. He gives off a creepy feeling. I wonder how strong he is. All eyes were on that mysterious young man. He opened his umbrella and gently leaped into the arena. The fair and ominous face was looking in the direction of Shi Ming from Imperial Beast Sect. Get over here and receive your death. He's challenging Shi Ming from Imperial Beast Sect. How courageous is he? He actually asked Shi Ming out to receive his death. He's challenging the disciple from Imperial Beast Sect. A human and a beast from Imperial Beast Sect are equivalent to 2 inborn experts. With the combination of the 2, their combat power is recognized as the strongest existence among the same level. What kind of strength does this mysterious young man possess, such that he dares to challenge Shi Ming? The people below the arena froze as they looked at the ominous-looking young man who was holding the umbrella with bewilderment. All of them were looking surprised. Roar! The one who replied to that ominous-looking young man was not Shi Ming, but the roar from the king of the forest. "Haha, Imperial Gale, are you hungry? Let's go, I'll find you a piece of meat." Shi Ming stroked the roaring lion and laughed loudly as he sat on him. Roar! Shi Ming let out a low bellow and made a leap into the arena that was 20 meters away. Boom! With the release of immense oppression, Roaring Lion stared at the ominous-looking young man with bloodthirsty eyes while revealing his ghastly teeth. "Haha, I thought it was a lady in the sedan. I didn't expect it to be a man. What a disappointment." The coarse voice of Shi Ming was heard as he sat on the Roaring Lion, looking down at that ominous-looking young man. "Ha ha!" That ominous-looking young man giggled, revealing his sparkling white teeth. Without a word, he made a swift movement in an attempt to attack Shi Ming. Humph! Upon seeing his offense, Shi Ming swung his arm and assembled a few rods that were found on the Roaring Lion, forming a 2-meter-long halberd. Phew! He swept the halberd forward. Hoo-hoo! At this time, dark and cold radiance flickered in the ominous-looking young man's eyes. He pointed the tip of the gray umbrella ahead while looking at the Roaring Lion below. Roar! The Roaring Lion lifted his chin as a frightening windstorm made its way to encompass that ominous-looking young man. The most powerful thing about Imperial Beast Sect was they could launch an assault together with their inborn spiritual beasts. The strength exploded by the combination of a human and a beast way surpassed 2 inborn experts. Bam! Despite the gray umbrella tip having blocked the sword, the ominous-looking young man remained unmoved with the windstorm generated by the Roaring Lion. He pulled the gray umbrella upwards, releasing a grayish mist that slayed the head of the Roaring Lion. Poof! A shriek was heard as the ominous-looking young man twisted his umbrella, floating more than 10 meters away. Boom! A loud thud was heard as the lion head rolled down the floor. What? This. All the surrounding people were aghast when they saw the lion head rolling out of the arena. Everyone found it hard to believe. Single strike. A single strike was all it took to slay the inborn spiritual beast of Shi Ming from Imperial Beast Sect. How is this possible? Imperial Gale! All the people watched the scene before them with disbelief while Shi Ming let out a sorrowful cry. He was so startled to see his Roaring Lion beneath him beheaded. His body shook slightly. He had actually chopped off his head in a single strike. "How dare you kill my Imperial Gale?" Shi Ming was infuriated as he clutched his halberd with bloodshot eyes. With a malevolent expression, he turned to look at that ominous-looking young man. "Next is you." The ominous-looking young man revealed a smirk as he twisted the gray umbrella in his hand for a direct kill at Shi Ming. "We lost." Just then, the golden bird on a young man's shoulder was rotating his watery eyes with a mouth that spoke in a human voice. Subsequently, that golden spiritual bird moved like a bolt of lightning above Shi Ming, grabbed his clothes, and flew down from the arena. That young man from Imperial Beast Sect immediately lowered down his head and greeted, "Elder Fengling!" The golden spiritual bird did not pay attention to that young man. Instead, he stared at that ominous-looking young man with golden eyes gleamed with wisdom. "You won." "Her." The ominous-looking young man looked at that golden spiritual bird with wariness in his eyes. He swung his arm, and he floated down the arena with his gray umbrella. An empty space was immediately opened up around him as everyone stared at him with an appalled look. Invincible. He's simply too powerful with that daunting umbrella. That umbrella is at least an inborn spiritual weapon. But what's that gray mist about? With such a strength, he should be crowned as the champion. What's that golden spiritual bird? It speaks human language, and it possesses such domineering wisdom. That golden spiritual bird was fast. That disciple of Imperial Beast Sect even addressed it as Elder. Everything, including the mighty ominous-looking young man and the mystical golden spiritual bird, was incredible. The outstanding young heroes competition this time had widened their horizons. That grayish mist must be some bloodline that is similar to Kuin, which is also a decadent creature. He must be a pinnacle inborn. That golden spiritual bird has a very high IQ. The Imperial Beast Sect has lived up to their name. The golden spiritual bird should be at least a half-step to Dan Realm expert. Wang Xian watched in astonishment. He looked around those flabbergasted martial artists with an arching of his lips. You guys can carry on showing off. After you're done, it's my turn,